Toycat, and today I'm going to attempt something that seems like an oxymoron because I'm going to have a very chill stream in the Nether. That is right, I've got a big Nether project to complete. It's one that I've been sitting on for just over a year now, slowly working away at, but I realized that because of all the transportation I'm going to need to be doing through the Nether, I need to finish this giant Nether tunnel. It goes for about 1,000 blocks in total, and a lot of this has been put in place, but there's also many parts of the tunnel which aren't perfectly complete yet, hopefully, which is something we'll be finishing by the end of today. At the very least, by the end of today, it should be a fully functioning Elytra tunnel, and if it happens to also be good at other things, well, that would just be lovely too. Maybe we get some extra ice in there, we could, finish up the boat side of things, because it is a lovely diagonal boat pathway, which makes it a nightmare to boat on, and also the best thing to boat on. Anyway, yeah, like I said, this will be a chill stream. I'm excited. There are just 14 days to go until Minecraft 1.21, and I am incredibly excited. I do have to say, there are so many, fun things that 1.21 is going to allow, and most of them kind of revolve around doing silly things with a mace, I'll have to admit. But there are lots of other fun things that I'm looking forward to particularly doing in this world, and I want to make sure that I go into those basically fully unencumbered by my existing projects. Nothing in 1.21 will help me destroy this amount of Netherrack or build that amount of it, and so why not go into this with a positive mind for that stuff. So, hello, hooray, tunnel, says Jeff Kalen. It's good to see you. What's up? Says Michaela. Hello. Oh, no, Cameron Martin says that. But hello, Michaela and Bearded Man and Dorian D and Lucy Ra and the Blue Warden. How is it going, everybody? I've got a fully recovered Netherite pickaxe here. I did actually use my blaze farm for a little bit. I just kind of logged out, and then when I logged back in, there was something like 100 blazes there. Enough to repair all of my tools, and soon, if I just do one more little session, I'll have enough to repair this shovel. And so it's pretty cool to have full Netherite gear. It's very rare that while I'm working in the Nether I get to have that, which maybe is an opportunity for me to say I was wrong about something. But yeah, the Autocrafter and copper bulbs are the only things I'm excited about. It says Zoto acronym. I do think that the things that you think that you'll do after an update are always slightly different than the things you do. Maybe this is just me and I'm terrible at follow through or something like that. But the things that I assume will be the most important bits of an update never end up being the bits that matter the most to anyone, let alone to me. It's sometimes you get the idea kind of right, like with 1.19 in Ancient Cities. But sometimes it's one of those things where there is a very short burst and then it goes away, versus some things are much longer burns, and it's impossible to know which is which until much later, which is some of the challenge, I guess, in this whole thing. So I think I'm going to destroy a lot of this just to open it all up and make sure it's all very, very clear, and then later we're going to use some of the Netherrack we get to make the curvy shape kind of exist. So I know what to do to find trial chambers, says Topping Apple. I'm glad that you do. The pro tip, I mean, you know, I don't need to tell you. I was gonna say oh yeah, here's the pro tip for anyone else who's watching. But you know what? Now that they've got you here, they don't need me to tell these things. So yeah, one of the things I also need to do in this tunnel is make sure that it doesn't spawn a bunch of mobs all the time. This is one of the parts of the design that we can't really do till later. So for now, we just kind of accept that, yep, there's fiery death that rains down onto me every now and then. But sometimes you gotta do what you've gotta do. Speaking of gotta do what I've gotta do, let's mine through all of this, because this is just kind of there. And let's make sure that this continues onwards, because it currently is a dead end, and it's the next logical part of the project to do, in my opinion. Eventually remove this, because it's just kind of chilling unnecessarily. And then also replace all of this with some Netherrack, like we'll do right now. So, on the ground here, this is meant to go over there. And we're just going to place like this, and if we do it from back here, it minimizes the odds that something terrible happens to me. Speaking of something terrible happening to me, hello Toycat, says Winter Saphira. Hello everyone. It's fun the first few moments of a stream. I need to turn up my volume in the game. It's fun the first few moments of a stream like this, because I like these chill streams as an opportunity to actually have a longer form discussion. But then sometimes it's you know what? Chilius Bean is talking about his kombucha he's having with the stream. And I'm like, yeah, I love having fun beverages. You know, in life, it'd be nice if I could try every type of food in a given day. You know, the idea of a buffet is so good. You go to the buffet, you get to have every single type of food. But the reality of a buffet is you eat 3 plates of food and your body says, yeah, now all food tastes a bit worse. And then you have a few more plates of food and your body goes, yeah, now your body is going to start telling you, please stop eating. Versus beverages, you know, you can drink liters of liquid a day. And so I've got a fun beverage today too. I think it's a Black Forest flavored water. And that doesn't make any sense to me either. But it does taste very, very good. There's something about beverages. You know, something about drinks, I guess. Because beverages, I think, is any non-water, you know, drink out there. And I'd like to say that water is delicious. That's one of my controversial takes in this world, that water is great. It really is. People act like it's not, because, like, you know, oh, yeah, it's cool to hate things that are good for you. But water is objectively and truly delicious in every sense of that word. Also, we're finally over here now. Look at this. The diagonals have finally completed me a way all the way across this world. And we'll just slowly extend this up and up and up until we get to where we want to. Every time we find a ghast, by the way, I will be killing it, though. That is one of my few non-negotiables. Or not killing it. I will be despawning it. Which I guess is killing it in Minecraft terms. There's a, I guess there's a bit of cruelty involved in killing that isn't in despawning. But still, yeah, we'll just destroy a lot of these blocks. We'll have to replace them. Honestly, for the bottom of this, we probably should have used Deep Slate, because otherwise it will get destroyed, and later we'll have to patch it in with something. But for now, let's stay optimistic and let's keep building it. So, Kat, do you think that Mojang should have added more tricks than trials? I feel like the trial chambers will trick a lot of people. Like, even if they're not officially, you know, like, filled with tricks and traps, something like that, I think for the average player, the first time you go in there, you're going to be overwhelmed. If you have, like, you know, a fun reminder is that all of us, you know, especially if you were here, you know, we cover a lot of news on this channel. We cover betas and previews and stuff. So, if you watch a channel like this, then, yeah, you probably are quite aware of what to expect. You might die, but it'll be to something you expect. Whereas when someone you know, most of 1.21's players, most Minecraft players don't follow update news. You know, if you think about the stats, we have maybe tens of thousands of people watching these videos, but there are tens of millions of people playing Minecraft right now. So 99-point-something% of players are going to encounter trial chambers for the first time in 2 weeks' time, and they're gonna go, whoa, 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 and then they're gonna die. So that is bad. I wasted a firework, and also got my thing blown a hole into. Definitely realizing the value of what I just said about, like, I probably, almost certainly in fact, I probably would be better off making this bottom out of something else. But I think that's the beauty of a project like this. If we finish it without having to do that, it will be more impressive. So I'm going to keep making that my goal for now, just to keep things nice and easy. Then I'm going to tear apart this next layer. And now that the ghast is gone, we're going to go back, patch in my existing hole, and then start building on the next thing after that. So we're just gonna pretend that none of that ever happened. The fire will keep away other mobs. So let's put it out, because I like to fight. And then let's do another one of these ziggity-zaggities. Going all the way along, all the way back to the other one. And slowly but surely, this will construct a brand new Netherrack tunnel. I think I need to make ample opportunities to leave the tunnel, but I do think having a mostly enclosed tunnel is a good idea. So, how was your day, says Dasher? I've had a very, very, very busy day today. It's, I don't know, I sometimes... This is the thing about, it's a fear in life is, like, talking about work stuff, even when it's, like, your favorite work stuff to do, is when you say busy, it kind of implies, like, doing not what you want to do, which is weird, because, like, I really, really enjoyed what I was doing today. But also, it felt like it took the entire day. So maybe it's like you're acknowledging, like, a little bit of time blindness in there somewhere if you say it. But I feel a little bit of, like, active guilt when I say, like, yeah, I've been busy. I feel like something is wrong. You know, in the ideal life, you would never feel busy, right? You would just be freely moving from thing to thing to thing. But yeah, to answer your question, it's been a very, very busy day. I had a wave of inspiration about, like, I think something I want to do, because a lot of channels do shorts by, like, repurposing their main channel content, and I've never really liked that. I've sometimes done it, but it's never really landed, and I don't love that style of content. And then I've tried shorts where it's like, okay, let's develop an entire video and then fit it into 60 seconds, and that rarely works. I'd say, like, 1 in 10 times people really like that, and the other 9-10 times it also doesn't land. So I figured, like, okay, what if we make content specifically for shorts? The sort of video that it would previously be like, okay, here are 5 different things I'll talk about in one video. What if we do it that way? So, just don't loop it, lol. I don't know why short channels do think it's Like, every time you don't loop, like, no one falls for the loop, right? It's an editing trick that is appreciated the first time you see one person do a loop, and every other time you roll your eyes at it and say, ugh. So I don't understand the benefit of the loop. But yeah, so I decided to make a couple of short series. I've been working mostly on the second channel once today, but I think I'd give it a try, because logically speaking, when shorts were first introduced, it was like, yeah, for every 100 shorts views, you get the equivalent of about 1 YouTube view maybe, whereas now it's like getting a little bit closer to like 10 to 1. So it's like, I figure it's worth a shot. The sort of thing, because, you know, one of the things that's been hard is, a lot of the things that I liked about old school YouTube maybe could come via shorts. Maybe I'm wrong about that and it'll go terribly. But yeah, I'm excited about the stuff I'm making. It kind of reminds me of what it was like to make videos back in the early days of Minecraft console, the 2-a-day sort of days. I think it'd be kind of cool, like, yeah, actually, the amount, in theory, it could work exactly the same way. Maybe I could revive some of the beauty of that. Loops never work, says Lubu. I think the best loops are the ones that look like they're happening unintentional. When it looks like you as a creator are going through a lot of work for it, you know, it's like, ooh, okay, no, we're fine. When it looks like you're going for a lot of work for it, I find there's a bit of a mess in that. Also, I don't think I should do that. But I like preserving lava in the nether. I don't know what my problem is with that, but I insist on doing it. Hey,
Diagonal completion bonus.
Thank you, Jeff Kalen. Appreciate the tip so much. Hope you're doing extremely desert well. Glad to hear you're excited about the stuff you're making. Yeah, the thing I really liked about making, like, so you know, nowadays, like, I feel like something YouTube standard, something, you know, releasing 2 videos a day is just impossible at the standards that most people expect from YouTube. It's a interesting reality, but probably a good one overall. Just on like a time level. You can't watch 2 YouTube videos from every channel you care about every single day. But the upside of it is like, you know, like I kind of liked it because it meant that I could make like all these little weird topics that sit in my brain, I could turn into videos. So I've been playing around with doing it in short form. Again, it's an idea. I'll see if I like it. I'll see if it works out well. I'll see if we can actually work out a way to edit it, etc. But it's got promise. It's got some promise. And even stuff like, oh yeah, so Seed Sunday has been terribly underperforming every time. Maybe we could use shorts to promote a Seed Sunday. Maybe we could make a bunch of short seeds and then combine it together to make it. You know, I'm starting to think that way, and that to me is the fun bit. Is when creativity enters the process. Hopefully, the rest goes well too. So I think what I've got to start with is making the first block up from here. And then the rest we can do all of that later. Okay, not another explosion. I just remembered now. I'm just remembering this very second why there was a hole in that wall before. You know, keeping ghasts away is quite hard in the nether. Who would have guessed, chat, that in the nether it is hard to make sure there are no ghasts? I would not have guessed, that is for sure. See, I'm going to make a hole over here. And it's going to go out to this tunnel over here. I don't know if this is the best way to do that necessarily, but it's what I'm going to do regardless. Should definitely make it out of something that isn't Netherrack, but we'll make an early version, like the base on which the whole rest of it will sit. And later, this can all be something else. So for now, looks swell. Now let's go back and see what we need to do for the next layer of this. So after 2 layers of this, we then go into individual layers of 1. So it's a bunch of 1s over here, which we can continue quite easily through here. Yeah, we just keep cutting through like this, and then once we're done with it, we can carve out. Doing a lot of diagonal lines is hard. I'm glad that you're here for it, though, chat. Is that the Mangrove Swamp portal? Yeah, that is the portal to my Mangrove Swamp. As you might recognize from my big Nether diagram map thing. I do think that a lot of stuff in the Mangrove Swamp update has aged well, but something I still look at with genuine disdain is the muddy roots. Like, why? Is it like, did they intend to add it in a way where it had no use? Is that like a design goal that they were going after? I think there's this funny thing about when you see something that is sufficiently crazy, you just have to say to yourself, like, okay, there clearly has got to be some grand plan behind this. It's like a human thing. Like, nope, It's not that I don't understand it. Sorry, it's not that something didn't crazy happen here. It's that I just don't understand why. I think this is a common like trait behind conspiracy theorists. Is it's the reason that there's always a great super powerful government that's controlling the strings behind the scenes is because not acknowledging that means that yeah, life is random sometimes. A lot of things just happen. A lot of bad things just happen, like that's why most of the time conspiracies start around tragedies, is because it's a much better explanation of some great grand conspiracy than like, oh, yeah, bad thing just kind of happened there. It was kind of unavoidable, huh? Wasn't it? Because, yeah, I know. I think it'd be much nicer to believe something greatly terrible than something that's not. Okay, now we're going to start placing individual blocks along here, as I believe we are meant to do. And slowly but surely, it's all coming together. I haven't felt this much progress on this project in so long. I felt like this is going to be my, like, 11th stream on it. The first few streams, I'd spend hours and hours, and at the end, I'd be like, yep, I've gone forwards another 10 blocks. But by doing the whole thing at a time, it does feel like every time I'm coming past a given piece of terrain, it's slightly closer to being complete, which is really, really nice if you ask me. So, hello, Toycat. Sorry I'm late. Good to see you, Erodit. How are you doing? Hope you're doing more than wonderfully. But, yeah, to summarize from before, I think I'm looking forward to spending some time creatively, but my day has been busy as a result. Also, I was eating, so I've been trying to eat healthily recently. Are there people who actively say to themselves, I'm trying to eat unhealthily? If you exist, let me know right now. Like, I could be horribly wrong about my assumption on that. I'm just curious. Like, I feel like people either say they're just eating, each meal you pick your meals individually, or you say I'm trying to eat better or whatever, which is basically saying like, yeah, left to my own devices, I do eat very questionably. And so, one of the things in that is I ate a salad tonight. Very healthy of me. But after seeing like a slug on some lettuce, I started to realize like, this is what happens when food grows from the ground. Animals start eating it, and sometimes you have to eat those animals. And I don't know, we gave me a whole crisis about the food chain. Like, say what you will about the idea of like a can of Spam, or like, a tin of beans, or whatever, foods that we'll call ultra processed and super bad for you. But you're never worried that in that tin of beans you're going to find, also eating a slug is bad, says Bongo. You're never worried that in that tin of beans there's going to be something terrible there. Whereas you eat fresh food, you eat natural, all these low bad foods or whatever. It's like, yeah, might just end up killing you one day. Might be, not even that it kills you, like, because I think the odds of actually dying from a slug are fairly low. But, like, it might just be that you get something horrible from that, because this just grew in a field somewhere. Someone just left it in a field for 9 months. They sprayed poison on it, and then later, you just gotta rely on someone washing that poison off. And it's like, oof. That's kind of bad, huh? Also, happy 6th birthday, Logan! Happy 6th birthday to Logan, too. Happy birthday to Logan. Happy birthday to Logan. Happy birthday to Logan. It's 2 weeks until 1.21, so your present will have to wait. There we go. That's my song for you. I gained some weight recently too. Gotta eat a bit less soon. I think the dream is always okay. So what maybe you're at the same stage in your life, age. I don't know what the word for it is, but I think the thing that is much more useful for me is to be like, okay, I just need to pick up a similar number of active hobbies. And it's something that is at least vaguely useful as an idea. Like, yeah, there are so many active things which are actually very fun to do. You just got to work out what they are. Bouldering is very popular, for example, or running, or whatever it is. Like, doing things of your body is probably the natural state. Or at least you can make it the natural state if you believe in yourself. And so, yeah, maybe useful. Okay, also, always wash your lettuce, wash your produce. Poison safety first. Yeah, so, but, like, this was a salad prepared by, a business of some variety. And, they did not wash it very...
Muddy mangrove roots should be used with dripstone to make rooted clay, and then made into rooted terracotta, and then stained rooted terracotta, and then glazed rooted terracotta.
Wait, what
Probably
happened?
1.32 Lowell.
So first of all, thank you very much, Fusion Warrior. Good to see you. Hope you're doing wonderfully. Always lovely to catch up. I do appreciate you stopping with the wet meat comments. You know, it's I appreciate any amount of conscientiousness, and that was definitely there. But to actually respond to your comment, yeah, I like the idea of Mojang actually turning value from these old items, which I guess kind of, you know, to give value to old items without value, Mojang, if they want to do that, which is always fun, they do need to create items without that value in the first place. It's a weird paradox when you think about it. Maybe not paradox, but it's a weird problem to have. Like, if they give everything a use, then they can't give old things that don't have a use because they will already have it. You know, it seems weird, but also makes a bunch of sense when you really think about it. Speaking of things that make a bunch of sense when you think about it, if a vampire drank a drunk person's blood, would they get drunk? Odd midday thought. Yeah, it's called blood alcohol content, right? The thing we use to measure drunkenness. And so it's a very good thought to wonder. I'm gonna guess yeah. It's gonna not by very much though, because like it's usually measured by like the amount that you are too drunk to drive at is 0.08% BAC. So if you drank a beverage that was 0.08% alcohol, you literally couldn't drink enough of it to get drunk, as I understand how that works. And so I'm gonna go ahead and say that you would not get a vampire would not get drunk from drinking a drunk person's blood unless they were really like if you're like literally passed out, broken, like, you know, even then it's like gonna be 1% alcohol. You'd have to drink like so much and have a low tolerance. But you know what? That's my answer to your drunken midday thought, or maybe just a midday thought. You know, we'll have to get a vampire in here to determine whether you are drunk. But yeah, vampire probably could do a if they had a sufficiently sensitive like mouth for it. They probably could, you know, like test your blood for you. So they might make good police officers, or bad police officers, depending on your view of police doing breathalyzer checks, I guess. Okay, so this is on fire. Now we're gonna finally. It's a tricky one to do. Oh no, there's a ghast in the air again. Every time I'm getting up there to do it, there's some ghasts that spawn, and just want to make my life a little bit painful. But that's fine. They are allowed to do that. Okay, hopefully got rid of that. Pretty sure I did. Run away from it all now. And then run back this way. So, I did patch in my hole, but I'll remember to unpatch it later, hopefully. Now we're going to run all the way this way and tear apart more of this. And then we're going to take advantage of this to say, yeah, since the next level is 2 layers up, let's start from over here. And I think I'm destroying too many blocks right now. Start from over here and then start working back. So now 2 blocks here. And then 2 blocks go here. And so on and so forth. All the way to the end. On the outside, this is going to look way less pretty than on the inside. Because I'm not destroying these like placement blocks. But hopefully it all equals out in the end. Okay, nice. Place a block. Destroy some blocks. And now we're going to place these going all the way back out. Until we are at that point. And then we're finally going to be able to, hopefully, get up and finish my towers that I've been gas blasted at every time I do it wrong. It's going to be good. So, if they got vampire police officers, I would eat all the tzatziki. You know what? Very valid defense, actually. This is something they should be teaching us. The what to do in case of vampires. But you know, something else I think about a lot, right, is the idea that whenever I see a show about the apocalypse, I immediately start thinking about skills like, okay, how do power plants work? How do you farm stuff? You know, like, I start to think about like all of these like fundamentals you need to know about. Hey, Fusion Warrior. Oh wait, was that Fusion Warrior? No, thank you to Fizzy. I find myself £5 for being late to the stream. Thank you for being honest, Fizzy. You know, many people would not be paying their late fees. Just kidding, there's no late fees. Very fun, I love that, Fizzy. Enjoy your presence here a lot. Chat, are you forgiven? That's what we'll have to work out. Also, pre-1.21 realm review, should I send the invite now or wait to do all the 1.21 upgrades to my builds? So it used to be, in my mind, I was like, okay, I will review realms after 1.21. I gave it like a week. But the truth is most people don't actually play a lot of Minecraft within a given week of an update. And so You know, and even when you do play a lot of Minecraft, it doesn't actually affect your builds all that much. And so, yeah, if I was going to do round review, it would be before 1.21, not after. Will I do round review before 1.21 and not after? I don't know. What happened to Song for a Fiver, says Xavier. It was a nice one-time thing. Also, I made Master laugh. Thank you, Master. You know, thank you, Fizzy. Interesting language choice, but I'll roll with it. You can, on the internet, you can call anyone whatever you like. That is the beautiful thing about this planet that we live on. And so if you'd like, you may, I guess. Okay, so we're here. We're gonna hope that this time there's finally no ghast. Let's run over and let's start building these towers. Okay, I'm doing this. I'm doing this, chat. It's finally happening. If I get ghasted again, it'll be over for me. But we're here. And it's actually happening. So once we get these 5-block high towers built, we'll have like a slightly taller than a half-pipe version of our thing. Which is most of the important bit of it. You know, it's the shielding from the sides. And then the top can just be there for the sake of protection from ghasts or whatever. Like, it's important, but not, like, so hugely important, right? And so, yeah, very, very, very promising. I like that it's easy to build the 5-high stuff over here. We just have to build on top of the terrain that already seems to exist. Big fan of this for sure. Keep building. And then once we've done that sufficiently, which it looks like we vaguely have, we can then start destroying the blocks to the left and down. That will make some extra blocks visible to ghasts, but it will be worth it. And also, it's so satisfying, just destroying this many blocks. It just feels good. It's good for the soul, even if not for the Minecraft world. And so we'll come back through here, check up on it, destroy a bunch more blocks. Yeah, just really get them moving down there. I think I made a mistake somewhere over here. Oh yeah, I did. It's fine though. We'll just put all the blocks back. Wait, is that correct? Yep, that's correct. And then we'll start destroying these ones downwards, and we are good. So, Kat, are you finishing your Mega Nether Tunnel project? Yeah, I've been working on this one for a while actually. I've been really putting my time in on this. But it's one of those things that just kind of escapes you. Like, you say like, okay, let's put some out. Like, when something feels like it's incompletable, it feels like, why even put the effort in to do it? And it's weird because if you just kept trying, then you'd get something done. But it's like such a hard thing to convince yourself at the time. So I just have to tell myself, I'm just gonna work on this for 2 hours. Hopefully we get closer to completing it. But if not, we'll have a fun, chill time. And every time I've been doing this, we've been getting closer and closer. So every time I find a good opportunity to work on this, I take it. And I would say 14 days to 1.21. You know, we'll do a little countdown via streams. We'll miss some days, but 14 days to 1.21 sounds like a good enough reason to me. Speaking of good enough reasons to me, I believe if this is going to be the high wall, we have to now start building up again, and then really start building up again. And now we've already run out of blocks to build out from, but it's all fine. Although it looks like we're at least 1 block to the side of where we should be. Ooh, yeah. Did I lose something over here? It looks like I did. Nah, I can't have. Gotta be a mistake. Also, it looks like I'm like 1 block over the top here. Oh well, whatever. So now let's start destroying some of these blocks.
Project that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy to do in survival that I'm trying to finish before 1.21 is a 4th iteration Minter
Oh no!
Sponge. Don't even think about making a 5th iteration without cheats.
Yeah. Okay. Super Suit MC. I hope. I hope that wasn't inspired by one of my things not to build in Minecraft videos. Because man, that's such a. Like, okay, first level Manga Sponge seems easy, and then you just keep adding more and it gets easier and easier and easier. But it's so brain intensive for something that looks like it's so simple to make. I feel you so hard there. Gotta say. Why are you doing it to yourself? I look forward to seeing it when it's... Send me like a tweet or something when it's done. I would love to go, what the heck did you just do? As I'm sure you're thinking to yourself right now. But I have some questions I'd like to raise. You know, it's okay though. I hope you're okay, and that everyone in your life knows that that you're doing okay too. At least I hope they know. Okay, so just keep on building up here. Keep on keeping on. And here we are, back to here, where we can now place a couple more blocks. And so there's another big layer of destruction we have to do somewhere over here. Totally fine, totally normal, totally easy. Okay, so now we've gone up to this high on this side. We should go up to that high on this side. We've still got way more to do, but like by placing up these stacks, we at least make the whole thing look more uniform. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna get shot off the edge here soon, so I'm gonna be quite careful about that. But they can't get up to me, and so I'm feeling pretty good. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I've got to say, really, really, really crazy commitment there. Big fan of that Super Sue MC. Chat, Super Sue MC, what's your... oh wait, that was a YouTube chat, so I can see it that way. Absolutely mind-blowing.
Okay, I sent the invite and changed the realm name as the tradition goes. I'll bring a shulker box of gear later today. If it happens, it happens.
Thank you, Fusion Warrior. I feel like a lot of people are like really aggressive, like, when you coming? Give me an exact date and time. And I'm gonna be like, I don't know. I've got lots of stuff to do, and I tried to fit Realm Review in, but I cannot give you a precise date and time for something I don't know myself yet. Which I kind of get, like, I think in general, a thing I'm learning about scheduling is like, yeah, I know why for a lot of people it's useful, and I get the real world benefits and all that noise. But also, there are lots of things that don't happen on schedules. There are many, many things that don't happen on schedules. And so for those things, you've just got to say, yeah, they might not happen. You know, like, cause, you know, some things, some things like, if it's like, yeah, this is definitely happening anyway, and it's definitely happening between these times, just pick a time in there, and then at least you have something to stick to. At least people have something to work around. But if it's like, oh yeah, and you know, that's why, you know, if people do want you to definitely do something by committing to a time, you're committing to failing it. Whereas, for a lot of things, if you don't commit to a particular time or date for it, then then you know, just months later, it might be like, oh yeah, I forgot about that, my bad. So, you know, it's, I get the benefits of just saying, yep, I'll do it, here is the time, or nope, won't do it, at all. But also society puts a lot of pressure, a lot of value on being like, no, I'm not going to say no to something. I'll say maybe. But yeah, I try to be fairly honest about a lot of no's in life. Like people say like, hey Toy Cat, can you play my Minecraft world? I have to be like, I'll be honest with you, I don't enjoy playing multiplayer. So the answer is, with very little doubt, no. It comes across as rude. So you instead say, oh yeah, maybe sometime. Yeah, maybe. If next time I get the hankering to play multiplayer survival Minecraft, but with like a stranger I haven't met before, I will contact you in that as soon as I can. You will be on the short list of candidates for that, alongside the other few people that have asked me this week. But I'll randomly have to message one of you. I think it's I think one of the weird things about social graces is how much of like being polite is synonymous with lying sometimes. Also no, okay, so I'm gonna get out of here now. I'm gonna bring some shulker boxes too. Please don't blow anything more up. Or yeah, I think I'm gonna free up my inventory space. And then I'm gonna use a firework actually, just to show you how cool the tunnel looks. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to free up my inventory space and then mine some ice. No, should I mine the ice? Because I might get ghast exploded. Yeah, I'll bring some ice. I think it marks the path of the tunnel. So Cat, come play my Java world with mods. That's your favorite things. People will genuinely say that and then be actually offended when I say no. And it's like, I don't know how this parasocial relationship works to you. You know, because I totally understand the fact that people on the internet know you better than you know people on the internet. That is the very nature of the word parasocial. I actually get that, I think. Okay. Ooh, what's happening? Okay. Oh, why is my camera doing that? This is such a weird bug that happens with controllers. It's going to kill me one day, and I'm going to be very upset. Also, can you only emote on free? Didn't you used to be able to do 6 emotes, chat? Am I crazy? I feel like it was 6 emotes. Am I wrong? Okay, wait. Let's wave, and then let's clap. Clap for the 4 emotes that we get. It was 6. That's so interesting that they reduced it. I thought it was 6 on controller and then 4 on PC, but maybe I guess to make it more usable on PC, they went down.
Why am I doing it to myself? Spite. I didn't want the server's market map covered in ducks.
In ducks?
And it's a wet minger sponge with every 1 by 1 hole filled with water. It's made from cobbled deep slate.
Okay, I've got more questions. I'm gonna be honest with you here, Super Sue MC. So first of all, I think more people should be proud. You know how like really good chefs in the real world use like every bit of the animal and every bit of a vegetable. Like it's you know, like as long as it's seasonal produce or whatever, it's good. And that's what makes for a good chef, because anyone can make the best cut of meat taste good. Anyone can make I don't know, like an avocado taste good. Like you know, making good things from good ingredients is easy. Making good things from bad stuff is hard. And more importantly, like completing the loop. Rather than having a bunch of stuff in a chest somewhere, putting it to work on something that requires a lot of blocks. Very clever. I like that. Very sad about the loss of motes as married in Minecraft. I feel like I remember that happening, but also I have no idea when. It's like one of those phantom memories where it's like, I think I know about that. So that still seems beyond wild that that just is a thing. But it is a thing, and so we won't think about it too hard. What we will do, though, is pick up some more Nevrac and a gold chest plate. I would put on the gold chest plate, but I think it will kill me if I think I have an Elytra equipped and then don't. So let's instead put it in my inventory. And then let's burn this crossbow. It's rare I get such an efficient opportunity to burn something like this. So I try to take it when I can. There we go. Don't need you at all. And then let's start mining upwards. So I went to pick up something up for free from a stranger, end up in an apartment building that smelled like peat, collecting from a man without a shirt, but hey, free plant pots and I didn't get murdered. Congratulations, Chantal! That's very impressive. Not getting murdered from someone's random apartment. Very, very good. I feel like I was just watching a show today about a murderer who killed people inside of apartments. So it's nice that he wasn't. Anyway, how many stacks does a shulker box hold? 27 off the top of my head. It's a silly thing to remember, but also an important one. It comes up a lot for a lot of Minecraft buildy things. So let's place these extra Nevrac blocks as we go. And now, as long as I don't fall off an edge somewhere, I've made hopefully a decent dent in this. I really love. Oh, I made 2 mess ups in a row there. I really love the big projects like this. But yeah, the I think the shulker box size is going to be really important for calculating any like really big projects. Basically. Hey, speaking of basically, wait, Yeeted Waldo is that? Yep, it's Yeeted Waldo. Thank you for finally allowing me to catch a stream. Oh, thank you, Night Terrors, for finally allowing me to catch a live stream. You've helped me for a lot of Strive Toy Cat. Thank you for everything. No, thank you for everything, Yeeted Waldo. I'm sorry about Night Terrors. I don't think this is Night Terrors, but I wake up in the middle of the night, in the middle of the night, and my brain is just broken like quite regularly. And I don't know if I've ever heard of anyone experiencing the same thing. I'm glad that my what I do here on YouTube helps. I think I saw someone say like I was a resident yapper on a recent video, and it's like, but like as an insult, and it's like, wait, isn't that kind of what you're here for? Isn't that kind of what I'm here for? I know. I guess there's an increasing number of people on YouTube who don't realize that it's their choice what videos to watch. It's a scary concept, right? People who are genuinely unfamiliar with the concept of choice. But I'm glad that you made a choice, and I'm glad that you made one that you don't regret. So I want to say very, very, very big thank you for the tip. And I hope that I help you through other things in life. In this indirect parasocial way that I seem to have done before. No, yeah, it means a lot. Thank you. I think everyone appreciates knowing they're doing positive things in the world. It's rare you'll find someone who goes, no, I want to know that I'm having a net negative in everyone's day around me. It's much nicer to believe, at least, that you're having a positive impact. And you help me to believe that that is true, whether it is true or not. Speaking of true or not, I have an interesting tip, by the way. 1.21 is coming June 13th, says Liam. You're right. Wait, is my video live yet? I got a cool thumbnail for it. Hope you're looking forward to it. Let's find out. No, I don't think so. Okay. So, Toy Cat, this is random, but I went on my first date yesterday, and I'm very happy. Oh, nice, Targon Black Poppy. Congratulations. This is something that I'm really passionate about helping people with, because it is the thing that gave me, like, the largest amount of, like, anxiety or, like, confusion about living, maybe to go more dramatic, is being a teenager and people being like, yeah, I have, like, 5 girlfriends. Or like, oh, why don't you have one? You're not dating anyone yet? You know, like, teenagers are really good at making other teenagers feel insecure as a way to detract from their own insecurities, you know? It's something that you get much better at as an adult, just rolling your eyes and being like, look, if you care about that, that's dumb. But, you know, like, when you're an age where you're very, I don't know, influenced by the people around you, it makes sense that sometimes that influence is negative as well as positive. By the way, Sean Skitter Sullivan, I need an expert's opinion. Did I mess up by starting my realm with experimental features on? Will this update mess me up? So I don't believe so. Oftentimes, I don't know if they've done it recently, but usually experimental features will turn itself off eventually. So if you have update 1.21 features turned on, and then 1.21 comes out, the toggle goes away and your world stops being experimental. My Let's Play world had experiments enabled forever, so I could have the crossbow a few months earlier. Yeah, in retrospect, what a dumb decision. Like, who wants a crossbow? Let alone wants a crossbow early. Like, you know, it was a poor decision of mine. I understand. But yeah, so the most important piece of advice I would give, because it is the one that would help me the most, is just be like, oh yeah, people act like dating and dates is this huge thing, but it's like, oh yeah, if you like someone of the gender that you like, or maybe you're not of the gender you like, but presumably of the gender that you have romantic and or other feelings for, then invite them to do something that you or them, or ideally you and them, would enjoy. I guess ideally them, or you and them, maybe. But like, yeah, just go do a thing together. You know, I feel like for some people, they might be like deflecting and be like, this is awkward, and you'll be like, oh god, it is awkward. What am I thinking? What am I doing? Ah, you know, you might have one of those sorts of thoughts. But yeah, and then if you enjoy hanging out with them, it's a good sign for your future. In reality, you know, like nowadays, it's not like, oh yeah, you meet someone for the first time and you try, I don't know, cooking a pizza with them. It's like, no, this is someone you're probably talking to a whole bunch. At least, you know, like there are lots of ways that you can speak to people. So you're probably talking to someone a whole bunch anyway. So just be like, oh, would you like to do a thing in person? And, you know, for some people, they'll be like, oh, I don't know about that, actually. I had a lot of, like, friends kind of like that were more like pen pals than real pals. But a lot of people would be like, yeah, actually, let's you know, the simplest thing is, like, let's go and watch a movie we both care about. Let's go and eat food. Wow, do you like eating food, too? You'll never guess this. I eat food every day. You too? Whoa, we have so much in common. Let's eat some food at a shared venue tonight. That we'll have, like, a chef be hired by the place, so that way we can focus on you know, talking to each other or whatever else. And at the end of the evening, I will you know, we can divide up the cost, and or I can pay for this because I'm inviting you here, and then we could separate and go our own separate ways and do that later. Anyway, so it's, you know, when you simplify it down, it makes a lot of sense. But it's a thing that, I don't know, when dumb teenagers can make you anxious about all sorts of things. I used to feel one of the things that made me feel like, oh, I am missing some huge experience in life, clearly, is like music. People who being into music is, by the way, got to be like an even more basic interest than food, because everyone needs to eat every day, sort of, but even then, not really. A lot of people aren't passionate about food. I think it's a great shame. Food is one of the greatest things in the world, but a lot of people aren't actually passionate about food in the same way that people are passionate about other things besides food. And so, yeah, it means that you might, being like, oh, you like music? I like that music too. Would you like to go to a place where there is music? Also get drunk together, you'll see their worst and decide if they're worth the hassle. I feel like, maybe I'm wrong, maybe this is a wrong implication. Getting drunk with someone is basically saying, hey, would you like to make some mistakes together? Which, to be fair, you know, like, learning how someone deals with mistakes and learning how they, you know, etc., etc. Very, very fun. But also, it's an easy way, maybe that is, you know, like, the speed version of dating. Like, rather than having to wait 3 years for someone to reveal, like, oh, yeah, I actually like to criticize the people that I love, because that's how I saw my parents do it when I grew up, and it's a trait I will not grow out of myself. Rather than waiting years for that, having someone get drunk and be like, your bum smells funny, and you know, even though it doesn't, and your nan's a carrot, you know, like having someone say that might be more useful. My dating advice is I have no idea. I might be aromantic. I think that is a, I think even then, right, like, you don't need to date, but having good one-on-one time, it's something I appreciate a lot when I was a teenager. Like, I don't know if this exists anymore. I guess the equivalent would be Discord servers today. But back in my day, there's this concept of, like, party chats. It's like all of your friends gather into an Xbox Live party, and so 8 people are talking at once in there. And a lot of people love this. Like, oh yeah, look, I'm talking to 7 people at one time. It's even great in here. But I really appreciate just having a little bit of one-on-one time outside of that. I appreciate the private chat function, which I think, fun fact, didn't actually even require I didn't require the paid subscription, which was very handy for me as not having one all the time. But, yeah, like, I feel like in real life that's true too. Like, anything more than 4 people, and you're not even having discussions anymore. You're either splitting up into groups where you then have discussions, or... And so, a thing that I find to be useful is just, yeah, one-on-one time. You might appreciate that somewhere in your life. Even if you have no interest in romance or anything else. Finding people that you want to be alone with, or finding people that you can be comfortable being alone with, is a valuable thing. I keep telling myself I'll put this Nevrac away somewhere, and then I keep ending up not doing it. Big problem for me. Very big problem for me. So I think what I'll do is I'll just load this into this shulker box. Like, I'll keep mining with it all the way over to here, and I'll put it in the shulker box. That'll solve some of my problems. And then I'll go mine some ice, because I think I'm low on... I don't have any blue ice. And I definitely don't have enough packed ice to make blue ice. Married in Minecraft says definitely interest in romance. Sigh. Would be concerned if you were married in Minecraft. I mean, I guess you can get married in Minecraft without being interested in romance. All you've got to care about to get married in Minecraft is, like, I don't know, wanting to build a chapel and wanting to gather some people around. I did a study on differences between romantic and friendly relationships one-on-one. It's not that different, says Lucy Ra. Is that true? Wow. I guess I love all of my friends then. I do think the more serious point to take from that is that being comfortable in big groups is probably going to have uses for you in life somewhere, maybe, I can imagine. But a much more useful skill is being able to be one-on-one with people. Maybe people don't want that from you, but you can want that from them. So if I'm not mistaken, by the way, there's blue ice right here if I'm willing to mine someone's house. Is that blue ice? Yeah, that's packed. Or is that blue? That's packed and that's blue, I think. So you can get access to a little bit of blue ice by just mining a village. Maybe that's the best way to get blue ice, actually. But if I'm not mistaken, and I hope that I'm not, just over here is a mountain that I mined. I've got a weird connection to it, because I mined this mountain while I was like talking about...
I used to be a big loser, but after watching Toy Cat, I made a cult of cats and kebab, and now everyone's forced to love me. Thank you, Toy Cat.
You hear that success story, everybody? That's what happens when you join the cult of cats and kebabs. Everyone loves kebabs. Everyone loves cats. They are they are two very important things, and so as a result, I don't know what the real conclusion from that is. Blue Ice is such a strange name. Isn't all Minecraft Ice blue? Yeah, you're right. Actually, you're really right. So why are we calling it Blue Ice? This is silly. I can confirm we shouldn't be doing this. Okay, so I'm going to... Kebabs are good. I've never tried a cat. Disappointed in you, I wrote it. Disappointed. You know, don't joke about eating cat. I'm just kidding. You can joke about anything. But yeah, I feel like it's weird to have a connection with a part of your Minecraft world this way. But when I sheared off most of this mountain's ice, I think I was talking about, like, death and the processing of it. One of the things I feel like is important to do on this channel is to share stuff like that, because that is it feels dumb that anyone would care, but I know that for some people it is a thing that is hard to get elsewhere. But yeah, I really enjoy one-on-one time with, you know, like friends. But the thing that makes it so hard, you know, can I if I can extrapolate on something, I make a joke a lot, and it's not actually a joke, but it's, you know, it sounds like a joke because it sounds like a very shallow thing to say. But money is my love language, and I say that because for some people they'd like to have someone like write a poem that shows how much they care. For some people, they really appreciate someone like, you know, like taking the basic stuff out of life for them. And one of the things I really appreciate is, like, yeah, if you are, you know, money is a finite resource. And unlike when you say, oh yeah, I love you so much, man. What does that mean? You can say I love you so much, man, to every man. But there's a finite amount of money in the world. It is a limited resource. Even millionaires have only, you know, you give £1,000 to 1,000 people, now you don't have a million anymore, for example. But so there is a finite amount of it, which makes it, at least in my view, maybe just growing up poor, it's like, oh yeah, here is a utility thing that I can use. Like, oh yeah, do you want to enjoy another Black Forest tonic water there, Toy Cat? Yeah, that was made possible thanks to some money. I don't know, like, it's a thing that I really believe, but one of the kind of extensions of that is, I think that to spend your time with someone, you know, to spend time in a very small setting with someone is to give them a type of value that you can't get elsewhere. Hopefully you think that your time is valuable enough that it is worth giving that way, but also you get something from them in the form of their time. It's like a big paranoia is always like, oh, what if this person I'm hanging out with doesn't actually like me? And that happens a lot in big groups. Like, there are people you might hang out with every day for years, and then be like, oh, we don't actually have anything in common. We just shared friends or something like that. I think I'm going to take this emerald ore home. I think I want some extra emerald ore just to sit in the chest there. I should go on an emerald ore mining trip at some point. Not gonna lie, I feel very loved when my girlfriend spends money on me, says Dasher. It's a very reasonable thing to feel. There are some things that I think you can produce an unlimited amount of. The cobbled deep slates of the real world. And there are some things that are very hard to create. And where everyone has very limited amounts. And so that's the important thing. I'm the opposite. I feel this intense guilt when anyone spends money on me. None of my friends know my birthday is because I feel guilty getting gifts. See, that sounds like a pretty deep thing, Pagliaccio. Like, that sounds like something that's more than a Minecraft YouTuber can coax out of you. But, how about if you think about, like, something that might be worth thinking about, perhaps I should say, is that people spend money usually because they want to, right? Those people aren't spending money on you and being like, oh, I hate spending money on this Pagliaccio guy. You know, maybe you attract people who do, you know, dislike that, and they're really glad to have someone like you in their life. But most relationships are reciprocal. In the same way that I was just saying, like, spending one-on-one time with someone is, you know, it's a nice thing. They're giving you some of their time. You're also giving them some of your time. Everything has that, like, second thing attached. And spending money on people is really nice for some people. You know, it's like, to me, you know, I to give you my end of things, I do spend money on people for events where it makes sense. But I don't ever feel like good that I spent more money on the thing than I needed to, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't know, if it's a birthday gift for a friend, and instead of spending, you know, like £20, you spend 200, I wouldn't feel 10 times as good, or really any amount as good. I would feel actively like, ooh, should not have done that. Because I don't think they'll appreciate it any amount more. They'll be like, oh, yeah, cool, I guess.
Howdy, Toy Cat.
Hey, Pookie!
I do not miss the insecurities of youth. The truth is, everyone is too worried about what others think of them to think about you. Here
It's
is
true.
your allowance.
Everyone is so focused on what everyone else thinks about them to think about everyone else. There are very few exceptions to that rule, I will say. But in general, no one cares about you because they're so busy caring about themselves. It's a useful lesson for the world in general. Like, there are people who get very... Also, why is there so much ice under this dirt path right here? There are people who get very convinced the world is out to get them. Like, it's an easy thing to think because the world demands so much from you. It's like, the world is demanding... It's kind of like the conspiracy thing before. The world demands so much from me because, you know, the world is out to get me. There is someone out there who is specifically trying to make me suffer. And, you know, I get where the feeling on that comes from. Also, I think I'm going to destroy one of the things in this house. So I'll just drop this for a second. Mine that. Make it into a crafting table. Place it back. Love having crafting tables all over the world. And then we'll make the ice into packed ice, because why not? And then make some of the packed ice into blue ice. 51 blue ice. Lovely. Now we'll go destroy some more. Now, there's YouTube memes of mean mums judging everyone who walks by, and it's so true. Oh, yeah, that's not when you're young, right? When you're... There's a sad thing that I think happens to people as they get older, where some number of people stop thinking about, you know, I think some number of people stop thinking about how they can improve themselves, and instead start thinking about how anyone else who has achieved something. It's like, oh yeah, but they had something, you know, that I didn't. But not even that. That's like that's too generous a thought. It's like, okay, those people, their success shows a moral flaw. The things that they are doing well show a failure inside of them. And then it starts to go from there to like, oh yeah, and there's also lots of people who just have moral failings on the outside. It's, you know, because there's two ways to be the best at something, right? One is to learn and to beat everyone else, and the other is to be like, oh yeah, anyone who is better than me at a thing, they're kind of just jealous haters. Kind of just people who, you know, they're all just bad people. There's me, you know, good person. Everyone else, not so good people. People worse than me, they're fine. People better than me, oof, terrible. The world isn't out to get me, but it's definitely out to get Xavier. I feel that. That and the closest ocean monument to my base is an unexplored frozen ocean. So going to a setup for an ice factory there after killing the Guardians. Oh yeah, that's gonna suck having to deal with that many Guardians. So we'll make 42 more packed ice. I mean blue ice, and then we'll mine a little bit more. You're right, I can't stop thinking about that comment that all ice is blue ice. You're right, it is all blue ice. Why are we acting like there's anything different here? That's gonna drive me crazy forever now. You know, I'm gonna unhear it. That's the only way to make this better. I'm just gonna not have heard that comment, and now all my problems will go away. So mine a little bit more over here, and then we'll go to sleep, and then go back to the Nether. Easy. Let's fly away. Blue ice is bluer ice. Yeah, blue ice does look a little bit more blue, I would have to conclude. Also, I like my little flag system I have set up over here. There's so many weird things you have to consider. With bedrock-sized worlds, like having to go like 10,000 blocks away from your base just to find something does change your perspective on things. Blue ice should be named clear ice instead. Well, I mean, really, regular ice should be clear ice, maybe. Clear ice, blue ice, and bluer ice. You know what, Serena? Between us, we'll work out this system. Derek Patisse, I have a question. Where can I get command block codes for Xbox Minecraft? Oh, it's such a nightmare to type in on Xbox. I feel your pain. I don't have a solution. I just want you to know that your pain is felt. So, yeah, I do believe that sometimes the world feels like it is out to get you, by the way. Just to pay a little bit of true tribute to that. And the darkest thing about it all, in my humble opinion, is the fact, the real truth of just like, yeah, the world is indifferent to you, and actually the things that you spend years being taught are just, you know, to be taken for granted, actually are very, very hard to get. That is the real brutal truth, is that things that feel like not even that good, you know, I know, like a good example of this is like fast food being so expensive, right? Fast food is it's like, literally society drills into you like, McDonald's is so bad for you, it's the worst, it's trash food, etc. People spend all this time trying to tell you that. And at the same time, how did a phantom get in here? How does that happen, chat? I have my questions. I don't think I'll be getting any answers anytime soon. But yeah, let's go use our blue ice. Continue out the pathway a bit. I'm glad someone appreciated that I have a little mesa biome inside my nether and then a mesa biome outside the nether. I appreciate your appreciation. Also, by the way, Pookie, because I've adopted him as my internet son, I'm half Asian and he's 1/4 Asian. I'm old enough to be his mother. Doesn't matter that his Asian is different to mine. I think about that a lot with the term Asian. I'm sure you must think about it a lot too if you are slightly more Asian than I am. But like, when you say Asian, you're referring to the continent that has 55% of the human population, right? It's kind of like, maybe controversial here. A lot of, in America, people use the word white, like, you know, because I guess there's enough other races there that being vaguely European in some way is, like, considered notable. I know, it's a whole point we'll have to talk about sometime. But in Europe, when people use the word white, it's like, yeah, that's 93% of the country. There's so many subgroups in there, it's worthless to say. When you pick a term like that, you know, because, you know, you're missing out to be like, oh, white people inside of insert this country. It's like, well, you know, people from Poland are just as much immigrant as people from, I don't know, like, Mexico or South American countries or India. It's like, what's the useful distinction we're drawing there? And it's because, yeah, when you use any term that makes up most of something and you try to group it in together, it's silly. And that's why I think Asian is a similar silly word sometimes. Like, for some contexts, it makes sense. When you're referring to, when you're trying to be like, oh yeah, people who aren't white or black, saying Asian, or maybe not white, black, or whatever other races we have in the world. But given that, like, you know, South Asian is so different to East Asian, and Southeast Asian is kind of neither of those two. And then also there are Russian people who are Asian. Like, if you live like 1,000 miles east of Dasha, inside of her country, you would be Asian, right? And so, in fact, wait, Dasha says she's got some Tatar blood from Central Russia. It came up recently. I was just having some fun, looking at some stuff, and I was reading about Tatarstan recently, and they had a whole referendum on being an independent republic in the breakup of the USSR. Fun little tidbit. I thought I saw ancient debris, but my dumbass didn't see that it's soul soil, says you know, don't feel bad about that, by the way. I want to point out that I've been seeing that too, Fallen Sky. You mentioning it in chat right now makes me realize, like, okay, it's not just me that looks at it and sees that. And if it's not just me, then it means that it wasn't silly for me to do. But yeah, now we can extend this just a little bit further. We need a lot more birch buttons, obviously. But look, it's nice. The boats are still going to run out in the middle of nowhere. but we're getting closer. But yeah, so Pagliacco, I would love to know. Okay, no, it's good to see you though, Pagliacco. I have a, I hope that I hope it helped. Anyway, so Ruby likes Sonic 2. I think I'm glad that you have Twitter notifications enabled for me. It is an honor. I do think that the notifications are such an intrusion into a life that it really is a compliment to have them enabled on something. Like, it's one of the things that I feel bad about, like, asking for as a YouTuber is like, oh yeah, turn on notifications, because if you don't turn on notifications, then YouTube doesn't tell you about all the videos that you're subscribed to. It's like, I don't want it to actually notify you. I don't want you to be, you know, like, eating spaghetti one day, and then YouTube to be like, quickly stop eating spaghetti, Toycat's uploaded a new video. I don't want that to happen. It's a real thing, a real fear. So, but yeah, I think, no need for notifications when you're stalking the unlisted playlist. You know, really that would be the dream, is if, in the early days of the internet, that's how I had to do things. It's just a couple times a day, you check the websites for content that you like, and then, like, oh yeah, did something new happen in there? Oh, awesome, it did. Let's go watch that new thing that has just happened. Oh, I think something's wrong here. Oh no, it's just I think there's a layer of 2 that was missing. Yeah, I bet it's 2 ups. Yeah, okay, chat. I thought I made a horrible mistake, but it turns out I didn't, and I am very relieved. One of the best feelings ever is thinking you've done something wrong and finding out you haven't. I've been having a fun dispute with I'll name the company. I've been having a fun dispute with Dell Computers recently, basically over the same thing. Is as a company, they're making lots of vague threats towards me. Like, they called me up randomly in the middle of the day. They're like, oh yeah, we'd just like you to pay us some money. I was like, oh no. And they're like, so I am from the collections department. You will not hang up on me. And I was like, okay, we're off to a bad start. Don't wanna spend any time talking to you now. You know, like someone trying to be like, here is a threat to make you spend your time with me. But and so it's a funny thing about how the human mind works that way. You know, our one-on-one time was immediately soured. But maybe one day, me and the Dell's collection agent will actually become great friends. Maybe one day we'll laugh about how our relationship began. And so don't worry, I'm responding to them every single day, making sure they know. Did you RMA a product? No, yeah, what it was is I asked to send a product back a day after getting it. Like, you have a legal right to have it within... It's either 7, 14, or 30 days, but it's like a UK law, and they said, nope, not gonna do it. And I said, those are my legal rights. And the chat guy was like, I'm sorry, I understand it's your legal rights, but there's no option for me to do so. And I was like, so I will credit chargeback. And he was like, I guess you will have to. And so I did. If you're curious, credit card chargebacks are way worse for a business than, like, they get charged a fee on top of losing the money. And so, yeah, it's bad for a business to have that. That's why, in general, customer support exists. Even because, you know, like, I think about all the time, why do businesses do the things that they do? Like, what, you know, I'm sure we've all considered basically going the Uber route of just being like, what if instead of having customer support, what if we skipped out that process and just said no to enough people? Because a lot of people... You know, when they come in and they're like, oh, I have this problem, can you make it better? And you make it better for them, they're like, awesome, just got some free money. And a lot of people, when you try to get good customer support, and the company says no, you go, well, that sucks, I guess I have to move on. I think that's the reasonable approach to take as a human being. I'm gonna move on but never use this company again. Maybe. Hey, Trey Peacock!
On the clock right now, but Toy Cat is yes and work is no.
If you get paid an hourly wage, thank you for transferring some percentage off that to me. I appreciate it a lot, Trey Peacock. Welcome to the club. Hope you're doing great. Some businesses ban you for that, scummy ones. Yeah, Uber is an example, actually, of a company. If you ever credit charge back Uber, they just don't allow you to use their service again. Fun fact, if you ever are considering doing it, it's worth doing anyway, because you can just make a new account. But yeah, basically, so because you can just do it, a lot of businesses, I'm sure everyone's had this thought of like, why don't they just not? Like, there's no, businesses are, as I'm sure people love to talk about this all the time, like businesses aren't your friends. They are big agglomerations of people that are there to make profit. So surely they'd make more profit by ignoring your legal rights. Is maybe just a thought that I've had, maybe a thought everyone has. But what's interesting about that, is this definitely right? Oh yeah, this is definitely right. So here's the first stack of 2. And then we'll work on the next stack of 2 while we're here. So stack up here, and then replace a bunch of blocks, and then keep doing the same. But yeah, basically the whole system is set up to make companies follow the law, not because of like fear of like being sued or something, because there isn't enough legal capacity to actually, like take every country to task for doing things wrong. But instead the system is like, yeah, so if you get customers, if a customer is owed a refund and you don't give it to them, the credit card company can do that on your behalf. They charge fees, and they basically set it up so that you have to agree to accept chargebacks. And so it sucks for you because they charge you for their costs of processing that chargeback. Can we have a parasocial relationship? Dell, not me, says Valeria Bear. Would you like to have my parasocial relationship with Dell? You can talk to me every day, and I can send you an email saying, please refer to my previous email. We could do this. We could do this all day if you want. And a parasocial friend. Uber started to charge me more and more for placing a small order. It was £9 for free chicken wings. Okay, Daniel King. Sorry, someone needs to tell you this. Someone needs to tell everyone this. If you get charged a small order fee, order more food. Or don't order at all. The idea of paying more money so you can order less, it's got to be the craziest thing that you can do. Even if you order 6 chicken wings, 6 whole chicken, let's imagine you go that crazy, right? Then you could eat the other 3 like tomorrow or later or something like that, and then you wouldn't pay you would probably pay a bit more than 3 chicken wings plus a small order fee, but certainly not double as much if you get past that. You either don't you order enough not to pay the small order fee, or you don't order. Those are your 2 choices. You should never. There's never a world where you do that. But anyway, just to continue here is does Dell doing money talks? So anyway, the point here is to say is so the company gets charged, and then also there are services. So in the UK at least we have this. I don't know. Every country has some equivalent. I think in the US it's called like the Better Business Bureau, and they all sign up willingly for these things. Where basically, if there's a dispute with a customer, to avoid having to fight court battles, because that's expensive on both sides, they sign up to basically consumer advocacy organizations, and they have to pay for that. It's less than court fees, but that way, if you have an issue that you don't think they have resolved, you take them there, and then as long as you are in the right and some neutral person can see that, you will get your money. So in general, a lot of companies will just say, even when you're probably wrong, if you're not serially abusing this, it's better just to give you stuff for free. It's better to just let you, take the loss and let you have this thing than to continue doing it. And the thing is, if everyone knew that, people would be a lot more abusive about customer service. And that's why companies have to look like they don't care and won't do anything about it. Also, that is scary. What was that noise? Did Ghast die or something? Speaking of Ghast dying, Fusion Warrior, I included a video URL for the 1.5 seat Sunday the realm is built on, and an exploration book by Spawn. Oh, that's cool, Fusion Warrior. That might be kind of fun to see, to look at the seed Sunday and then look at the world, maybe. My wife loves leftover wings, says Jared Hull. See, there you go. That's what you give the leftover wings to Jared Hull's wife. I don't care if she's not in the room with you. Make it work. Don't order free wings. Because, okay, I think this is me being rude to a substantial portion of people on the internet. But the idea behind ordering, food instead of making it yourself is like, yeah, you're paying convenience. So I can understand being like, yeah, whatever they charge me is whatever I pay. But you have to at some point be price flexible. If you say to a company, I don't care what you charge me, I'm just going to keep paying it, do you know what they're going to do? They're going to charge you higher prices. I think the more price flexible you are, if you open up Uber and they say, oh yeah, it's going to cost £20 for a ride to the airport, and I guess the airport's a bad example because you probably need to be there for some other reason. But if they're like, yeah, it's going to cost you £20 to go there, and you just pay it, and they say, oh yeah, 120, and you'd pay it, well, they now know that they can charge you more. If you tell these apps very firmly, like, oh yeah, when the price is too high, I just don't do it, they know they have to compete on price. Whereas for most consumers, price is not the most important thing. And so even though you can be mad when prices are high, you probably care more about like a fast service or the easy app access, because otherwise you would use a competitor service, right? I spent a month in Japan and the food there is so much cheaper compared to here in the US. $3 for 2 sandwiches that would have cost me $20. Yeah, I think I really like societies like Japan where like going out to eat is genuinely cheaper than buying the ingredients to eat yourself. Because if you think about it, that's the logical way that food should work, right? Like, if you make food at scale, it's so much cheaper than... Oh, I think I have made a mistake here somewhere. Probably not. Let's keep mining and see if that bears out to be true. Making food at scale is a lot cheaper than not making it at scale. Like, if you... But buying, I don't know, enough bok choy and buying... Whatever, you know, like buying the ingredients to make 1 bowl of pasta is so much... more money per serving than making 50 bowls of pasta. If you think about it this way, like a family, you know, making food for a family is not substantially more than making food for yourself, because you buying 10 times as much of a lot of ingredients is basically, you know, like double as much or something like that. Whereas buying half as much of a food is usually almost the same as buying the right amount. It's crazy how much of life just has these bulk discounts but built in. And so if you have to use a lot of certain things, it's a lot cheaper. And so really, going out to eat, sure, it does cost a chef some time. It does cost, like, you know, there's a real cost there. But it should save them a lot of money. And so if enough people just went out to eat instead of eating at home, it'd be great. But I think the economics start to break down when people value eating at home because they don't want to, I don't know, drive 45 minutes to their nearest restaurant, or maybe people like the idea of, I don't know, I think there are reasons to specifically like eating at home over eating outside, but in general, if you had a restaurant very close to you, it's kind of the thing of like, a lot of people's dream end goal is, what if I could have a private chef? And it's like, what if you could have a private chef that lived not in your house, as you're probably imagining, but imagine he lived, like, underneath your house. You lived in a little cute box, like, and then the downstairs of your house, instead of being your house, was where the chef lived in his kitchen, etc. And then every day you could walk in, but instead of having to pay the chef every day, you know, like, give him a salary, what if you could just pay him every time you wanted food? And boom, we've just invented living in an apartment above food. But realistically, if you live, like, in a city, even if you live in a house like I do, like, I'm a 5-minute walk from someone who will prepare me some lovely Italian food. I'm a 10-minute walk from, I don't know, like a McDonald's or something like that. It's a little bit longer than 10 minutes. It's terrible. I used to live 10 minutes from a McDonald's. I could go quite frequently. Now that it's like, you know, now it's like 12 or 13, never going to McDonald's. What do I have? 25 minutes of my day plus time to sit there looking through the menu? That's not fast food anymore. That's medium speed food. I thought you were doing a weird retelling of Ratatouille. I live 5 minutes away from a McDonald's, says Xavier. I'm jealous of you. The number of times I've just been craving a double cheeseburger, and I've got to be like, okay, you know, I'm if there was a double cheeseburger in my hand or in my house, or, you know, even just outside the house, I'd have just gone and got it. But the easiest version of control is, I don't know, the not self-control version. So McDonald's there is crazy. They have macarons. Yeah, a lot of other... The most surprising thing as a European going to the United States, not the most surprising, one of the top 5 most surprising, is that McDonald's is seen as, like, genuinely down class. Like, McDonald's is where, like, hood fights happen and where people are pooping on the street. And, like, I don't know, the first McDonald's I went to in San Francisco, they have this, like, big sign being like, we will not let you into the bathroom without, like, a triple code. A big, like, another sign being like, customers only. And then the whole place looked like genuinely the worst. I know, it looked bad. And that was the common experience of West Coast McDonald's. Maybe it's different on the East Coast. I've heard there's a fancy one in New York. But it's seen as, like, genuinely, like, a rough place to be inside. Whereas McDonald's in Europe is, like, quite nice, actually. It's a lovely place to spend time. Teenagers like to spend time there with their friends. You know, that's a weird but effective thing that actually works. McDonald's is down class though, says Alon Gengar. But like, you know, it's still fast food in the UK, right? McDonald's is still considered to be fast food, and so there's social stigma towards it. I was saying previously, and I do confirm, I do stand by the fact that, you know, McDonald's is seen as unhealthy food, but it's not seen as like morally. I know it's not seen as like, ooh, you went to McDonald's, is everything okay? You know, if you were in that much of a struggle, I could have helped you out. Or I guess the other way people see McDonald's is like, yeah, you drive through it on the way to somewhere. If you are desperate for food, McDonald's has you covered, is basically like the ways that people see it. Okay, I'm guessing now the video is finished. I'm hoping. Oh no, okay. I'm gonna check up on that. So with that said, I'm just gonna stand out over here. If I could eat McDonald's anywhere in the world, I'd eat in Spain for the cheesy bacon fries. Do you know McDonald's in Spain has beer? And that blows my mind, as someone who doesn't drink beer with their McDonald's meals. The video went live 8 minutes ago. Awesome. Okay, you don't go to McDonald's for healthy food, you go for a quick lazy snack. But yeah, my point there is to say it's like, people will, it is a scary place to spend time. It is not a nice, you know, I don't know, I feel like, I've been on many dates to McDonald's. It is one of the important early game dates in my opinion. Because I feel like, you know, I'm not that I'm like, I think, to be clear here, there are lots of very, yeah, I'll start this sentence again. I think that seeing if someone can have a good time at McDonald's is important, because anyone can have a good time at, I don't know, insert thing here. Whereas doing something, you know, I know it's kind of like how one of the things I think, one of the fun things about, one of the hard things to do in a relationship is like, I don't know, can you deal with budgets together and hard times and death and I know all that stuff. But another interesting thing is like, okay, can you deal with McDonald's together? In Texas, in my city, they have a restroom code for the day on the receipt. Yeah, I think that is a, I think that's not a terrible system, all things considered. I still don't like it though. I think as someone who needs to use a bathroom more than the average person, I think it's terrible that people will be like, oh, yeah, I think that it's so important that we, you know, like, I think that we have allowed the state of public restrooms to be something that requires, you know, like a code. It's like, that's a failure in my mind. I think that it really, ideally, it should be that everyone can have a public bathroom and know that non-customers aren't going to wreck it. I think it's like, I don't know, like a societal decay to use some dramatic terminology here. I think it's a societal decay that you can't trust a bathroom to be open to normal people. I think that there are lots of bad things that enable that to happen. Speaking of bad things, James Marseille, East Coast to hit, depends on where you go to McDonald's. Hey, thank you. You know, I'm glad. Thank you for adding some knowledge to the world and giving me enough money for a double cheeseburger at the same time. Man, you know, I think McDonald's is 24/7. It's like the only thing near me that is. Could go for a nice bike ride to McDonald's after this. If you have need for them, you can always ask, but it's kind of embarrassing to have to. Yeah, I do actually, see, that's a thing, though, where I do ask, and I don't think it's terrible to, but I don't like that other people can't, because I feel like, in general, I can be nice enough to someone to allow, to, like, if I really need to use the bathroom, and you ask the person, like, hey, can I have the code? They make some quick judgment about you and say, oh yeah, sure, here you go. And then, you know, if they say to you, like, oh, it's for customers only, then be like, okay, I will become a customer, but I really just need to use the bathroom first, if that's okay. And then if they say, no, you've got to order something now, then you could say, like, okay, I will order the cheapest thing on the menu. So I would otherwise order, you know, like, you can get through the interactions just fine. But it's like, it'd be nicer if you didn't have to. And also, I know that maybe that's just me. Like, there are lots of things about the public realm that we let degrade under the idea of doing nice things for small groups of people. I think there's lots of silly examples of this. But you know, it's like one of the things that I think is wild is, at least in big cities now, it's getting harder and harder to use self-checkouts. It's getting harder and harder to go to supermarkets in general, because people will say like, oh, why do you care if someone steals from a big corporation? Like, it makes no difference to you. And it's like, yeah, I don't actually care about Tesco's bottom line. I'll be honest with you. It's not, I'm not like so invested that I want people not to steal for that reason. And I don't think I hope no one is that invested for that reason. But like, as more and more people steal, stores have to put more and more measures in place to stop them, right? I mean, it's a basic thing that businesses aren't doing what they do for charity, like I mentioned earlier. And so, as one of the measures that they'll introduce is be like, yeah, so how about, you know, just a fun idea here, really crazy one we're working on. Lots of people are stealing, so we'll make it really, really hard to get certain items out of the store. It's like, okay, that doesn't sound fun. Okay, lots of people are stealing, so we'll make it really difficult to get out of the store if you haven't specifically gone through the checkouts. Like, you have to like squeeze past people if you walk into a store without buying stuff, because they assume that people who walk in and don't pay are more likely to be shoplifters, which is true. And so, you know, like, it's one of those things where, if you want to help people who need food, the best thing to do for them is give them food. It is not to allow them to steal food from corporations who will then punish you and everyone else indirect. Because, you know, it's not even a punishment, air quotes. It's like a, you know, it's a way that they can sustain their previous profit margins. And so, I haven't watched a stream in so long. Glad it still has the same energy, says Muyo. I'm glad it still has the same energy too. Welcome to the live stream, Mr. Muyo. Hope you're doing wonderfully today. I'm doing just great. People who shoplift just because they can are the lowest of the low. So I don't wanna. Can I share a story? I had a very leftist past in my life. You know, and you know, like, it seemed like a lot of it came from like a place of like genuinely caring. I think this is something that's important. Is like, a lot of people really do think they are doing good for the world when they do things that are not good for the world. And so, yeah, but one of the wildest opinions that they genuinely held was like, yeah, shoplifting is always okay. And so they just would steal from their store all the time. I like, you know, they live with me temporarily. I had to like stop them all the time and be like, no, just pay for that. Just why would you not? And they were in California they lived in California for a bit, and they managed to just steal an entire air fryer by going to the self-checkout and then scanning a pack of gum, not scanning the air fryer. And then, like, an employee said, you're banned, you can't come back here. And so they just started going to other stores. And if you live in a big enough city, that's kind of what happens. And it is wild when you think about it, because there's a double prong sort to it. I think one of them is like, yeah, it's bad for stores when you take stuff like that. Air fryers are slightly more expensive to, you know, account for that, you might say. But the bigger thing is like, yeah, it's I think there are some number of people who just feel less good about the world when they say, oh, I paid for my air fryer, but I could have just stolen it. I think you genuinely make, I don't know what you could call it, like, you start a whole world of like envy from that, and I think envy is like an ugly, partially understandable emotion. And so I think you make the world like a double-pronged worse place. You did advertise air fryers for a while in the past. And you know what? If you need an air fryer but can't afford one, you know what I won't tell you to do? I'll give you a good idea. But yeah, I remember I met, when I was like 11, I had a friend, he came into the school out of nowhere, and apparently he's from, yeah, I don't know, like, there's all sorts of rumors about the sort of family that he was from. But the thing that really solidified it for me was the fact that he was like, yeah, I want some sweets. I'll just take them from the shop. And it's like, man, that sucks that someone, that is the way that your brain works. Because, you know, it is actually pretty cool. There's a, let's not argue like it wouldn't be cool to be like, oh, anytime you want something, you could just have it for free. You know, it's a fun hypothetical that 5-year-olds ask each other. Like, you know, what if you could have everything and there was no cost to it all? Wouldn't the world be so much better? I wish it could be that way, because there are so many physical constraints I don't like. But the reality is not like I get it for free. The reality is like, you know, everyone else suffers a little bit because I want things that they can't have. Okay. Okay, I'm fine. I'm good. Everything's wonderful. I'm just gonna hang out over here for a bit. Oh, look, there's my mesa biome, but from underneath. Isn't this nice? Whew. So let's just fly back up there. I'm running out of firework rockets. I'm also running out of beef, so we'll have to make sure we stock up on those things. I've definitely heard 5-year-olds speak like that, Lamau. You haven't heard 5-year-olds say they wish that everything in the world was free? Do you have 5-year-olds that are unexposed to the cruel realities of capitalism? More seriously, though, okay, so I think I made a mistake with this by doing a 5-pillar after a 2-pillar, but I'll make it better. Everything will be fine. And as long as I don't get ghasted, I can assure myself of that much. I think it might be faster to do these from the top. To go like, yeah, I think this is a faster way of doing it. And it's a waste of a Nevrack, but it looks like I've got so much Nevrack building up here anyway, that it doesn't feel like a very big deal. Our 5-year-olds were too busy working on thermonuclear dynamics to worry about. That says married in Minecraft. Like, you're making me actually question myself now. Like, are there 5-year-olds that genuinely don't understand prices? Am I crazy? I remember having a conversation with my cousin about this, and I remember, I think I might have been like 7 at the time. Or 9, maybe. And when she said, like, oh, I wish everything was free, I was a smart-ass 9-year-old, and I was like, if everything was free, then obviously, if everything was free, then no one would come to work to do things. So if you want to be here, obviously those people need to do some things. And so then she was like, you're right. I wish everything was 1p instead. 5-year-old liberal. No, it's not. I'm not. They're not being political. I'm literally like. It's not a political take to want everything to be free. It's like saying I wish that the world was made of ice cream, and then there's some people here being like, oh, darn liberals think that they can have ice cream for breakfast. It's like, no, I don't think it's that deep. I don't think it's that deep. I think I think 5-year-olds still think things are free. I started getting pocket money when I was like 4, maybe 5. I wonder, like, am I misunderstanding what a 5-year-old is? Like someone who's been alive for 5 years, right? So like they were 4, and then they were 3, and then a year before that 2 and 1. Do we have like? I feel like people. Hey, Mischievous! Thank you. We're gonna get a lot of creator now. Welcome to all of the new members. Hope you are enjoying your new access in their first or second year of school. Yeah, wait, chat. Are you genuinely not encountering like 5-year-olds who understand money? I actually don't know if I'm crazy or if chat is crazy for this one. My 11-year-old doesn't have a clue about money, says a WeClan Torrents. No way. No, I do not believe that's true. Okay, I want to know, anyone here have a 5-year-old? Ask them right now, would the world be better if everything was free? You ask them, and I swear to God, they won't be like, oh, what's the money? I don't know what money is. Like, I think we're all assuming like, kids will understand what they've been taught, and hopefully at some point in the 1500 days they've been alive, someone has said, oh yeah, this thing that I am giving you right now, this thing that I am, like, someone will have understood that, oh, you can't have that, it costs too much money. If you have not told a 5-year-old something at that point in their life, I think that is a sign that society is doomed, or I had a worse childhood than I thought. How are you feeling that way? 6-year-old has no clue. He knows what money is, but knows its importance or lack thereof. Okay, so chat, here is a deeper question. Maybe we should do it as a poll even. Do you think it is a good thing? You know, let's ignore whether it's true or not. By the way, thank you again, Mischievous. Thank you for it is a way to give it back to a lot of other people on the channel, but also, you know, like there is it's like a few dollars per member, and so it's very nice. I appreciate it a lot. Hope you're doing wonderfully. Should I want to know, chat. Do you think it's a good thing if a 5-year-old doesn't understand money? Should they think that things happen under the whims of the gods? Should it be random to a 5-year-old why they can and can't have certain things? Or should they understand that they're like, am I gonna be a cruel parent? 4-year-old needs to understand some points, but not that much about money. Like, you could have a conversation with a 5-year-old, right? Not like a deep one. Like, you could be like, do you like chocolate? And they'll be like, yeah, I like chocolate. I like the Butterfingers or whatever. You know, I imagine, maybe. Am I crazy? Let's do it as a poll, chat. Let's do it. Should a 5-year-old understand what money is? Should a 5-year-old? I guess rather the finiteness of it too, not just that adults have it, but that there is a limited amount of it. I think your 5-year-old doesn't understand that things cost money, that education is lagging. Okay, yeah, should a 5-year-old understand money? Because like a part of me does say, wouldn't it be nice if a 5-year-old didn't have to? And another part of me says, oh no, that's like, imagine a 5-year-old not knowing that, like, I don't know, people die, or like a 5-year-old not knowing that, like, they have to eat 3 meals a day. I can't think of things more basic. So when my daughter was 5 years old, we had little to no money. I used to take her to the toy shop and give her £5, saying that's all we can afford. She always understood. And I imagine a part of her would be like, you know, even though she understood, she'd be like, but it would be cool if there was more. She's not there like, oh yeah, if I had, there's nothing more I need. I would even go as far as to say polyheat to hopefully make you feel better. I'm sure it's not something you feel bad about or anything. But I genuinely think having those experiences makes you appreciate having, like, you know, the first time I was given, I remember what it was. I was given a whole pound coin, and I was like, spend this on whatever you want. I was like, whoa, I can buy like 100 penny sweets, or I could buy 25 pennies, and then it blew my mind. And then the first time I had £2, I spent it on 8 energy drinks. You could buy 25, it was 24p for the Sainsbury's version of a Red Bull. I was like 11. That was a poor decision, just to be clear. But it was crazy. I walked into the store, and I walked out with 8 of something that I wanted, and no one could stop me. I had the money, I had the power in the world. Whereas if, I feel like some people genuinely, I think it's wild to not have any idea that, like, money is, you know, finite, and that the more money you have, the more nice things you get. Because it's I know you're gonna learn that lesson at some point, and the later feels like the worst to me. Also, you know what, chat? We're gonna do something fun today. We're gonna break a pickaxe. It's rare we get to fully break a pickaxe, but we're gonna do it today. Trying to get anything for 0.24p nowadays is crazy. I could be wrong, but I think like a Tesco branded energy drink is still only like 30 something p. I think it's gone way under the inflation. Yeah, I think it's probably a bit of a privilege to be an older kid and not understand money. Not that it's bad. See, but that's why the question is like, a part of me is doing this from like, oh, wouldn't it be crazy? But another part of me genuinely is wondering, like, would it be cool for a child not to understand money, though? Wouldn't that be nice to not... Oh, I'm destroying actual... Oh, no, I'm not. This is where it has to be. It would kind of be nice, right? But then, you know, that's the deeper question under all of this. It would be nice to not have to understand money. It's weird to me that you wouldn't have to understand money. But then a layer deeper than that is saying, is it actually nice? You know, is it actually a good thing to not have to understand a basic concept like that? You know, in the same way, imagine if you could convince someone that there is no such thing as, I don't know, if you can convince someone that people never die, people live forever, right? It would be cool if you could broke the pickaxe. That was a lot shorter, the pickaxe break than I was expecting. But, you know, it sounds like it would be nice on the surface. But then a little bit of a deeper dive makes me think like, actually, at some point you're going to discover death and it's going to be horrifying. If it's always been there, then you'll understand it. But if one day the concept of death comes out of nowhere, it'd be bad. My brother didn't know what an oven was till he was 16. Same vibe. Yeah, right. That sounds like one of the things that broke me, right, when I was a teenager, is the idea that people pay bills. I was first introduced to, this is to be an unrelatable child with money. Like, even though I had this very strong conception from a young age that there was money in the world, I got really, really messed up on this concept that you have to pay bills every month. Because I literally thought, like, yeah, it's a conscious decision. The electricity company sends you a letter and says, you use this much electricity, please send us the money. And the idea seems so terrifying to me. Like, every month, for the rest of your life, once you become an adult, you just gotta send a random company money because they asked you to, or you go to prison. This isn't a world I want to live in. Whereas if my parents had sat me down and been like, oh yeah, so every month we use a lot of this electricity, and so then they just take the money straight from your account, etc. How do you find the idea of taxes, says Shadow? See, that is actually, in a very non-sarcastic way, that's why a lot of people, when they first understand taxes, they come at it from a weird point of view. They're like, oh, taxes are this weird nebulous concept. They just, a lot of people who work might not even know about them. Like, it's kind of set up almost in that way. But if you grow up used to these concepts, then it's like, oh yeah, it's really fine. If my parents had sat me down and had a conversation and said like, oh yeah, it's called direct debit, so it comes out of your bank every month, and then you don't actually have to worry about it. It just they work out exactly how much you use, and if you disagree with that, then you just tell them about the meter. I feel like I'd have had a much chiller time. I knew about bill taxes since I was maybe 13. They sound ridiculous. Adjex, I'm going to do to you what the stream did to me a second ago and say, a 13-year-old knowing about taxes? Oh, that's impossible. What a made-up 13-year-old. No, I really am, like, shocked about that one. I think it's cool. I always like learning about these differences in how we assume the world to be, right? Because fundamentally, I think if we all understood the world the same way, we do a much better job of making it better, probably. And so, even though it's the hardest bit to do, I think it's really important to, like, understand how people who disagree with me see the world, because coming from their perspective, a lot of things might make a lot more sense. Knowing that there is an entire category of children who don't understand money, it's like, oh, that changes a lot for me. That I understand a lot more about the world, I think, all of a sudden. Like, I think Ghost tears are more important than Neverac. Gunpowder, probably more important than Neverac. 21 Stone, probably not more important than Neverac, but more important than an arrow. Okay, so just throw these both on the ground now. Then pick this all up, and then we'll start placing it again. Okay, so, they had taxes and tributes in pre-Columbian America, so it's Time Warper 41. Yeah, it's been a concept that's existed forever, right? The idea that if you think about the historical model for how parenting works, like we're fairly new to this idea that, like, oh yeah, your parents look after you and then eventually you leave and then you're gone. Like, for most of history, and for most cultures even now, the way it works is you leave your parents who raise you, and in exchange, when they are older, you look after them. We kind of automated a lot of this by saying, oh yeah, the government looks after everyone when they're old, so you can just worry about, I don't know, buying cheese and strawberries or whatever else it is you're interested. Buy yourself a Minecraft keyboard. It's a very nice keyboard, by the way. I'm not getting paid anything to say this. I just think this is so cool. I don't even want to plug it in because it's so tiny. It doesn't have a deep. I've got this really cool thing right here, and I want to buy 5 more of them. And you know what? I can do that because I'm not looking after my parents, and I cannot look after them, not just because they're not around, but also because I know the government does it for me. Now we don't have enough kids to pay for all the young people, all the old people. Yeah, on the on the in the retrospect, that was probably the dumbest part of the system. Is being like, everyone's children will pay for all of the old people, and then we'll just keep having enough children that will work forever. Because it means you get a really big bonus. Like, if you have a lot of children, you kind of lose out. Like, your children could give you more money directly, but instead they cannot because, you know, they have to give money to everyone else. Like, there's a huge tax burden on them. And it also means that if you have no children, society just is like, yeah, here's a bunch of money, we're just gonna give it to you. You just get money every month because the idea of you dying is sad to us. You hear about that? So yeah, only 69% of people think that a 5-year-old should understand money. That wasn't does, that was should. I think that's interesting. Especially, I think that's really interesting. Again, to my mind, it's not like, if you could prevent someone from learning about money forever, should you, is a question with a different answer to where I'm kind of going. Because I'm coming at my perspective on that with like, yeah, at some point the child is going to learn about money. So if you explain it early, because if you don't explain the money to the child early, they're just going to think you're randomly being cruel to them sometimes. Like, oh yeah, why can't we do this? Cause you know, mummy says so. And it's like, oh, okay, well then mummy isn't very nice to me, is she? Whereas if you explain like, oh yeah, well I have to work for all of this money, and I'll be honest with you, we don't have enough this month to pay for you and electricity, and you like electricity more. Maybe that's a bit dark, maybe you don't go that far. But like, I don't think, I don't know, I've got this big belief, like, I don't think lying to people is necessarily more polite than telling them the truth. You know, this is literally, you know, this brings the stream full circle. I think that even though a lot of social graces are about pretending that you want to do something that you really don't want to do, even though that's where, you know, a lot of like social etiquette comes from, I don't think that makes it a superior system. I don't think that lying to people is morally, you know, the best thing to do. And I feel like, especially if you care about someone, being honest about the reasons, you know, maybe you can shield the explanation for it. Do 5-year-olds see any kind of media says shadow? Yeah, you'd have to hide. Understanding money and understanding the true value of money are different concepts. I guess the only concept I'm thinking about, though, we clan torrents, is the idea that money is finite. That is the only thing that a child fundamentally needs to understand. Because I didn't understand how much money my parents had, or didn't have. I knew it was, I could hazard a guess it wasn't much, but if you asked me to name a figure, I'd have been mind blown to learn, like, you know, my mother gets paid, you know, hundreds of pounds every single month. It would have blew me away. I'd be like, why aren't we millionaires? Why don't we live in the sea? You know, I would have had these questions. And so, this guy's streams conversations are crazy normally. Is this not crazy enough for you? How do we make it crazy enough? What would happen if we took all the people alive right now and we said to them, like, what if you, okay, we're burning real bad. Just want to shoot this ghast right now. I think I might start carrying around an infinity bow. You know, I think the infinity enchantment should work when you have no arrows. That is my hot take improvement. I think infinity would get a lot better. Because I'd be willing to carry around a bow, but carrying around a bow and an arrow just feels like a lot of work, if you know what I mean. Anyway, speaking of things that you know that I mean, should 4-year-olds understand money as how we make it crazy? I don't think 4-year-olds understand, like, a great deal about a great number of things. Which does kind of complicate things, I guess. Okay, so we're going to mine a bunch more. And then we're going to put it back together somewhere around here. Oh, this is very messy. There is a lot of blocks here. I do not know how to turn them into something useful. Okay, should 40-year-olds understand money, says Pitted Man. Should a 40-year-old understand money? You know, the weird thing, right, even though that sounds like a joke, the weird thing is a lot of people do not, a lot of adults do not understand money in a very not joking way. There's a lot of glowstone here. I guess we're going to have to mine it at some point. Might as well mine it now. Yeah, isn't that bizarre, chat? That there are lots of people... you know, there are people who genuinely just think, yeah, anytime someone asks you for money for a thing you want to do, you just pay for it. And as long as you don't do expensive things, you won't run out of money. There are a lot of people who will and do genuinely think that way. Isn't that interesting, chat? Is that just interesting to me? Hope that's not just interesting to me. But yeah, is learning about money all a creation by some, you know, I guess really, because, you know, when you think about most skills in life, I think it is cool that society doesn't require you to understand about plumbing to have clean water. It is a given in society that there is the man who comes from the Planet Plumbing Company, and as long as you know that man's number, you will have clean water all day, every day, because that man will provide for you. He's got the plumbing sorted. You just have to give him a call, and he'll make it work. There's something nice about that. Okay, so build up here. I'm gonna use all the Nevrac. Probably get blown up by a ghast, but as long as I place a lot of blocks first, I'm not bothered. If you had a kid, would you let him stream himself playing Minecraft and make money at 5 years old? You know, there's so many 5-year-old influencers out there, and it feels like one of the worst things you could probably do to someone. Because, you know, if based on this conversation right here, people genuinely believe, like, 20-30% of people genuinely believe that 5-year-olds shouldn't understand money. How do you explain to them the work they're going to do for you? Unless you're going to tell them it's all about passion. And then be like, oh yeah, why do other people do this? Because they just love it, son. Maybe that's really pure to some people. Maybe that's real nice. But like, why is it like, why can't I go to my friend's house today? Because you've got to work, because you love it so much, son. And it's like, okay, I guess I do. You're right. Like, you can't explain trade-offs for stuff like that. Because ultimately, that's what life is, right? And at some level, life is about understanding the trade-offs that you have to make. A lot of the, you know, money is the easiest way to think about trade-offs because there is, you know, such a limited resource. But there's also a limited amount of time. There's a limited amount of basically every important thing. There's a limited number of avocados and there's a limited number of Capri Suns in the world. You know, there's a limited number of everything, and knowing what to do about that, knowing how best to, the ultimate problem we're really solving as a species is how to allocate those things. Like, as an individual, you have to work out where your time goes. But as a society, we have to work out where the limited number of hours in a pilot simulator go, or where the limited amount of, I don't know, like hotel rooms in this beach resort in Mexico go. We're solving very complicated problems overall, and it'd be cool to be immune to them, I guess. I think 5 is kind of young. That's not old enough for kindergarten. Fun fact, we don't call it kindergarten here. Kindergarten is German for child garden. Why do you send children to child gardens? Do you want them to, I guess you want them to grow up. Do you water them there? Do you put them in some soil? Nursery, bro. Yeah, exactly. Nursery is what we call it. I know a way not to pay taxes. It's so simple, says Lightning McQueen. Lightning McQueen, could you tell everyone your pro tip? How you could perhaps not pay taxes? Give everyone here a life pro tip. Do it. Because it grows children? I don't know. Wow, if you don't send children to kindergarten, they don't grow. That is quite the threat. Is that like the mob coming to your house? Just being like, you know, it's totally a choice not to send your children to this school, but just so you know they won't grow. You have a situation of someone who is fully grown in the mind, but not in real life. Do you want that for them? Do you want them to be bullied? Yeah, that's why I thought. You don't want that. Send them to our school. It just sounds a bit dark, is all I'm saying. Just a little bit like there's maybe a problem in there somewhere. Okay, so I think this is as high as I can realistically go for the sides. So once we do it on this side, we'll have a full half pipe covered. And at that point, it's kind of a bit of a hard call on what to do next. A very hard call, I might even say. So have I done my second row up yet? I don't think I have. Okay, so there's one row of this. This has to be too high. Because on this side we have a 2 and then a 2 and a 5. This is just a 2 and a 5. So one sec. Lightning McQueen's pro tip to avoiding taxes is you don't. So yeah, here's the other, I guess just a thing I'm realizing about society. Maybe it's obvious to everyone else. But do you know you can't avoid paying sales tax, right? Or VAT in most of the developed world. You can't avoid paying VAT. It's like if you go to the store and say, "Oh yeah, I'm not going to pay that tax," they don't let you. Even if you try to make up a really good reason as to why you shouldn't have to, the store just will make you pay it. Right? Is that obvious to you and to everyone else? So, ooh, my goosebumps. You're still going to have 5 girls, Andrew. It has been foretold. You know, Evan Murphy. That's a very scary prophecy. I will try my best to debunk it one day. But yeah, I think tax-exempt credit card for charities. It's very, very hard. Money is limited. It can be created. Unless you talk Bitcoin, then none can be deleted or created without mass agreement. I mean, we have all the money of the supply of money isn't limited, right? You can print money at will, but the value that money creates is. A lot of people are like, oh, you can just print as much money as you like. But it's like, no matter how much money you print, the amount of, I don't know, cement in the world doesn't go up. So what happens when there's only enough cement to build, I don't know, 5 houses, and there's 6 people who want a house? How do you deal with that? Is the real, like, that's why that idea eventually falls down, right? It's a fun one though. It's a nice idea. 5 goals sounds great, so you have one for a few years and realize it's not all fun and games. You know what my plan is? To escape. Yep, that's my plan. So anyway, I've been thinking recently, chat. Maybe deep, maybe shallow. But I've been thinking recently about, you know, how it is that you spend every given day. Because I used to spend so much of my life dreading certain things, and that was like how I would define my life. It's like moving from a dread of one thing to a dread of another thing. Like, oh god, there's a school presentation to do. Oh god, at the end of the year I've got to do this. Oh god, you know, there was always something to be fearful of in life. And you know, even though there's still like very minor versions of that, I feel like I'm finally at a vague stage in my life where there's nothing huge to fear. I think, like, if I try to realistically look into my life, the biggest fears in the future are like, okay, I have to renew my passport in October, and that's gonna be kind of tricky, I imagine. One of my biggest, this is dumb, but like I hate phone calls so much. I had to call up a car company today because they gave me a voucher for a free rental that had to be used by July, and also could only be redeemed over the phone. And so I've wanted to use this for 3 months, and I've been like, nope, won't do it. I'm just not gonna redeem this then. Okay, I'm just gonna like psych myself out of it. That's like the biggest like real fear moving day to day to day. Everything else is like I'm very aware I can deal with it. I can get through it. Just like show up, make it all happen. And so I wonder. One of the upsides of that, one of the downsides or upsides, it's time goes a lot faster when you're not scared of something. When you're like desperately worried about this thing you've got to do. And I've got a very, very big video essay that I'm really excited about. But also I'm like, oh, I have to make sure this plot... It's not exciting to record as much as it is. I'm like, okay, I need to make sure every individual section is exciting and engaging and make sure it's this. It's like, you know, it's something that's easily fixed by just making sure I am excited for the things that I'm talking about. You know, most problems are solvable. But is it a bad thing to not have fear in life, chat? There's another bit of a one to consider. But in the same way that, like, should a 5-year-old have to know about money? Should a person have to have things to fear? You know, as someone just mentioned, by the way, Shadow says, have you heard about the UK conscription mandatory service? The reason that so many people are in favor of it, it's mostly old people. Like in the UK, this is probably true for most nations. Old people vote at such a larger demographic than young people. Like at such a larger percentage. Like maybe 90% of pensioners will vote, while maybe like 40 or 50% of young people will. So for every one young person you make happy, you can make 0.6 pensioners happy. So pensioners are a better demographic to go after because they're bored and what are they going to do all day besides vote? And so, also as an anxious person, I say not having a constant state of dread must be amazing. One of the reasons that lots of people are in favor of it, though, some people just like the idea of other people suffering. Those people are hard to avoid, but there's a lot of good people who will favor the idea of everyone else being forced to serve in the military or cleaning things up. And it's because of the fact that, yeah, you will not want to do it, but when you do it, you will feel better. I do not want to do exercise every time I do it, but when I do it, I feel better. And if someone is not exercising every day and feeling really anxious and terrible, at some point, all you want to do is tell them, like, just go for a run. I swear, it will feel good. You don't think it now, but you will enjoy the feeling you get after you go for this run. Or whatever, like whatever else, right? There's a feeling when you have a friend who's going through some real terrible, terrible stuff in their life. You want to like make the stuff go away. You want to, if you have a solution to the stuff, you want them to know it. I have a friend who's like I don't know, like they needed some money on short notice, couldn't get it. They're like, yep, just gonna use this payday debt company, and you just want to be like, no, you know what a bad decision this is. Please, just you shouldn't be doing this, right? I think everyone has this instinct of like, okay, you would like to help the people around you that you want to make. And sometimes you've got to help them by telling them not to do the thing that feels instinctual to them. Going for a nice walk feels good, but you don't want to leave the house. It's like just go, just get out of the house right now. It'll feel real good. Making bad decisions makes life interesting, says Jaden Ogden. Do you want to make a bad financial decision, Jaden Ogden? Let me tell you about one. Pick the largest number that your credit card will authorize without without having to verify in any way, and then put that into the Streamlabs, the link down below, and then see the little, have that little blob of serotonin as Toycat claps and everyone in chat goes, "Hey, Jaden Ogden, our hero." Or you could not. It's also an option. So, Married in Minecraft says, my plan for national service is not just limited to the Thrones here, though. It's service to the courts, the state and federal lawmaking arms, and infrastructure support. Yeah, I think that when people help in such ways, it is good for them, and they look back on it appreciatively. But that's the problem, is looking back on something appreciatively is different to enjoying something now. If it was so enjoyable right now, people would already be doing it. So can you force people to do things that are good for them in the long run, but bad for them now? And that's the deeper question that's a bit harder to really answer. And the real answer to it all is, I don't know. There's probably something in there. So yeah, I think I've made this Elytra tunnel real nice now. I think there's some big blobs still worth carving out. I think this is probably the easiest one to do. So we'll mine it. No, we don't have much space. We'll mine a little bit of it, like the most jutted out bits, and then we'll go home. So we'll mine all the way up, and then mine all the way up, and then mine all the way up, and all the way up. And hopefully this makes it easier for future me to go mining for Netherrack, because I do still have a lot of Netherrack, and I do still have a plan for it, chat. Mine up, and mine up, and mine up, and I hope that this is all going according to plan. It sure looks like it does from here. Anyway, yeah, I don't think that'd be good and wise decision, Toycat. I don't do those. I'm glad that you agree it would be a good and wise decision to go for the max amount and just throw it into a Toycat stream. Yeah, but that's the thing, right, is when you look back on... When you look back on your, like, young years, you wish you could have spent them more productively. It's very rare that you regret doing something meaningful. Like, I don't know, as a dumb example, a lot of people are surprised to learn I had an advertising website when I was 12. Like, I don't know, they're like, oh, when I was 12, I was playing video games. It's like, I was also playing video games. I guess marginally fewer video games, because I was also busy making website stuff happen. But I don't regret doing the more meaningful thing. One of my regrets is I never finished this game for the Xbox called 13. It was this, like, cel-shaded shooter. I still don't understand. I got, like, right to the end, and then I never finished it. And I could have finished it if I wasn't busy, you know, like, working out how to sell advertisements to people on the internet. Or advertising space to people on the internet, I should say. But on the other hand, you know, even though I've got that very, very tiny regret, I think people regret much more not doing the meaningful thing. However, at the exact same time as saying all of that, I think I'm going to take all of my gas tiers with me. And then anything else that's, like, super important. Yeah, we'll take it. Let's go load it into a chest somewhere. I do have some mangrove planks. I could maybe solidify this up. I want to donate my younger self to charity, says Jaden Ogden. Yeah, and so there's a joking comment. But that's really what people are getting at, right? There's quite a few people in chat here. WeClan Torrents, someone else said it. So if you think about the fact that at the time, or rather looking back, you wish to yourself like, oh, would have been cool if I could have spent some time like building a hospital, or you know, like I don't know, doing something with wells in Uganda or whatever it is that people look back and regret not doing. But when you're actually 20-something, you just want to spend every day, I don't know, going out, getting some beverages, playing some video games when you get home. You know, like you enjoy the shallow pursuits that future you won't enjoy. But ultimately, like, you only get to enjoy those things at some point. Like one of the there are lots of things that everyone enjoys despite knowing it will be meaningless later. And I hope the stream isn't one of them, by the way. I think there are things that provide value as well as things that provide, you know, all things provide value to you. It's just the difference between whether it is right now or whether it is in the future. And that is where the tricky divide comes from. It's like, should you be entirely at service of future you? Future you would love it if you could say, yeah, I just built a hospital. You know, no big deal. It was just a little thing I worked on here and there. Whereas current you is saying, yeah, but I kind of just want to sit back and watch some YouTube. Even if current you isn't saying that, it's not a direct statement necessarily. It's still an implicit expression of values. It's a thing that I feel regularly. I'm not gonna like just be like, yeah, internet people are lazy. It's a thing. I am the same way. Like I have this real big plan, and it's hard to actually follow through. The size of the plans that you can dream and the size of the plans that you can do are different and mismatched, maybe even. But yeah, that is because at some point you have to decide: is right now use, you know, feelings more is what matters more? Right now use feelings, or the feelings of you in the future? It is very hard to have a true long-term opinion on that one. And even if you believe that it's future you, you'll still do some disservice to current you on the way to that. I enjoy my job now. It's meaningful, and I know I've made victims' life better, and will continue to. Yeah, that is the like kind of meaning side of things that is hard to replicate elsewhere. But it's also hard to like convince people that that meaning is so important that it's worth aiming for, which is, I don't know, whole thing for a different time. Future Dasher wants current Dasher to go to bed. Guess which Dasher wins. See, there's a fun example too. You know, it's like, you know, you're gonna wake up tired and be like, why did I stay up late? And then the next time you want to stay up late, you're gonna do it too. Eventually, you gotta build a positive relationship with future you. But right now, you can put that off for just a little while longer. And you better believe I want to as well. Okay, so let's make 7 extra fireworks. Okay, so we're going to make them now. I haven't restocked these in a little bit. 27. Add the 37. Exactly 64. Beautiful, chat. Absolutely beautiful. I think I also have a place that glowstone goes around here somewhere. Oh, no, I used all the... No, I don't. More glowstone goes in there. And now we have but one more thing to do, and that is to restock my cooked beef. Or actually, I need to go do my honeycomb. Okay, chat, can someone explain what happened here? Future me's problem is one of the most fun decisions, but rarely is it the best option, unfortunately. I think that is the real struggle, right? Because even a really good piece of advice is I've seen people who are 80 years old ask this question. Time and time again, you will get the response that you regret the things you don't do much more than you regret the things you do. But I'm just gonna quickly pick up a little bit of honeycomb. Oh, that's what's happening. The bees are dying. I need to prevent that, probably. Should I put a piece of glass down here? Put a piece of snow down here, maybe? Yeah, if I just put some snow there, then I could put the trapdoors a block higher up, maybe. Why is that beehive even a block higher up? Okay, let's fix the bee farm. Just a little bit here. Just a tiny little amount. We'll put this up there, and we'll put this on the other side in the same position. Except, oh, we need a thing over here too. So, okay, just bees don't die in the campfires. If you can just promise to do that for a second, we'll be good. Okay, that's the wrong way, but I like the attitude. This one will go there. Will it be based on the wall? Yeah, there we go. And then we just put a snow block down here. And then we'll move this piece of glass. Is that good? Yeah, we have to move this over somewhere else now. No, that has to stay there. Okay, we'll just leave that there for now. Yeah, there's no other way to do this, really, is there? I guess I can make this into a slab or something like that. That's what I should probably do. But anyway, let's now also fix this. Make sure the bee gets out of the danger zone for the fire. I don't know why bees would want to get in the danger zone for the fire, to be totally honest with you. But, okay, come on, fellas. You don't have to be here right now. Okay, sit in the campfire. He's dead now. But all the other ones can live, and that's what matters. So yeah, I'm still getting my big stack. So, you know, it's 14 days until 1.21. In an hour and 15 minutes, it will be 13 days until Minecraft 1.21. Very exciting. And my little preparation for the day is making sure I get a bit more honeycomb. This is where I've just been AFKing recently. I don't spend a lot of time AFK in this world, but I've been trying to spend some more. Like, it's weird. Okay, you know what? This is a silly thing to think, chat, but I've been recently thinking, like, oh, if I go AFK in my world, that's going to cost me some real world electricity. And so I'm effectively spending like 10p to get some honeycomb. And that seems silly to do. But yeah, I've kind of concluded, I've started trying to conclude at least. I'm trying to convince myself that actually it's worth it. Actually, you know, I would appreciate spending a little bit of money to have a few more pieces of honeycomb so I can make a more fun build in Minecraft. You know, a 10p microtransaction so I can have a bit of that. Sounds real good. And so that's basically what I'm doing. Speaking of what I'm basically doing, Toycat, did you hear about the Minecraft Netflix show? Yeah, I gave my thoughts on it in the video from today, but to summarize them right now, I'm excited. I might even go try watching the Sonic show they made, so I know if I should actually be excited or if I should give up on my excitement. But yeah, I am, I'm gonna pull out the golden carrots for 1.21, by the way. Gonna be great. Anyway, so thank you very much for watching today. I hope that you have a good relationship with future you. Sometimes that means rewarding current you, and sometimes that means, because, you know, actually, no, I want to finish this for chat. The old people will always say you regret doing the things that you regret things you didn't do much more than you regret things you did. And so the logical thing to take from that is like, oh, wow, broke a cool drip. The thing you should obviously take from that is like, oh, so I should do more things. But the hard thing is working out what should those things be. Doing things is harder than sitting there and not doing things. But if you can work out the answer and the solution, you'll be doing great. Why is this shulker box even in existence? Honestly, why is this a shulker box and not a chest? Should I change that right now? Okay, I'm gonna do it. I want to make it a red chest somehow, so I'll make like a red chat. I'm gonna do something crazy. Future me is gonna appreciate this. Current me has just been leaving shulker boxes in front of my house and saying future me will deal with that. It's been months. It's been almost a year. I think it's just before just after 1.20 came out that I put those there. So let's do something crazy. I'm gonna put a piece of concrete powder down, right over like here, I guess. Yeah, I guess there's nowhere else it should be. Maybe no, that's all. Why do I have a hole over here? When did I set this up? Okay, but I'm gonna. Oh, it's the beacon. It's my beacon from all the way down there. I think I used one of these beacons to set it up. So that's how I have all 6 effects. One of the effects is coming from down there, which is bizarre. Anyway, so we're just gonna finally do it. I'm just gonna remove this, place a red concrete powder, then place a chest under it. I'm gonna rename the chest to like red chest or something too. Do I have an anvil in my house? I should keep an anvil in my house. Having to go all the way to the giant anvil for an anvil, not very good. Toycat being surprised by past Toycat is always so funny. Who is this? You know, I think amnesiacs would have the best relationship with future them, because genuinely to that, you know, like the worse my memory is getting, the more I'm starting to be like, wow, well at least future me's getting something for that. Because you know, like one of the things I do like food a lot, and every time I'm eating food, it's making a small trade-off between current me feels nourished, but if I eat bad food, current me gets to enjoy eating it, but future me has to deal with feeling maybe bloated afterwards, and really future me has to deal with, okay, this is, I'm gonna name this Red Shulker Box, and then that way if I ever ask where the Red Shulker Box is, I'll be able to be like, here it is, look, we can all see it. This is a bad idea, but I'm sticking with it. So Cat, why is there a hole in the ground? You know, why is there a hole in any ground? Okay, next up, we're gonna work out if you can place a chest. I think I'm gonna cover the hole up with glass. Actually, we're gonna do that. I'm gonna place this here. See now it's clear this is a red shulker box, and now we can move all the cooked beef into it. So I'll make the whole top row cooked beef because that's just a thing that needs to be there. And then we'll make the next row all of the weird meats. Yeah, that works, I guess. So what weird meats have we got? These are the weird meats that we've got. And then the next row can be golden carrots. Except some of these golden carrots don't stack correctly, so we'll fix that. There we go. Just move those over there. Move these over here. Perfect. Okay, so that is my chest. Now we just move the last few things. I don't know what glowing sacks are even doing in here, if I'm being totally honest. I don't know if this is an appropriate place for raw meat to be, but I'll throw them in there anyway. And then there's shulker box. Oh, glowing sacks! Chat, I needed these. Literally last stream, I was desperately looking. Whatever, it's fine. Now I'm just gonna quickly ask the question: can I put a chest on top of a beacon and the beacon still work? I figured the answer should be no, but also I could see it being yes. Oh, yeah, because it's transparent. The fact that a chest block is transparent is very confusing when you really think about it. But yeah, we're gonna throw this and that. We're gonna confirm that is working. It definitely is, right? And then so that I don't have a trip hazard in the future, I'm just gonna place a chest over here. Oh wait, in fact, let's name the chest. Okay, I can't do that again. But we'll just place a chest over there. And now we don't have to question what's below the chest. And then I'll put a dirt block in there. And then if I ever get confused, that will explain it. Anyway, with that said, thank you very much for watching today's live stream. I hope that you have a good relationship with the future version of yourself. I hope that if future you wants a giraffe, you buy future you a giraffe. If future you wants you to stay subscribed and check out a series like this one, the future you does it. And if future you wants you to go for a walk, that you do that too. Because I have been IBX Toycat. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you either tomorrow or Sunday for another live stream. Goodbye. Thank you for the stream. Goodbye, says Bird for Life. Thank you for the stream. Thank you, Mischievous, one more time. Thank you to everyone who showed up, and everyone who tipped, and everyone who exists.